What's up, guys? Let's just do a real quick mic check. Anybody wants to chip in on the commentary? I'm going to see some things. What I see is YouTube, Twitch. I think this is streaming to other places, but let's just do a little quick mic check to make sure everyone can hear what I've got to lay down for you guys. There's about a 15-second delay. So I see David, thanks so much for saying that it sounds like the sound is going pretty good. You guys have been putting some commentary in here. Just want to highlight a few of the people. Let's go through a little bit of it. I'm going to share a little bit. I've got an amazing guest. You guys saw him the last time, but I was in Miami. I was in a penthouse. I had to catch a flight that was literally, I had to get to the airport and everything within minutes. And I'm kind of doing what Kenmon, my really good friend, does. He's always flying. He's always going to international destinations. I'm always the person that kind of lives this, be there an hour and a half, 2 hours in case something goes wrong or you'll miss your flight thing. But, some of the things that Kenmon's going to be bringing to the table for you guys, you haven't seen him publicly as a Hexican, but he's been a Hexican for quite some time. And he is an amazing guy, super charismatic, someone that, finding a girlfriend, is no problem whatsoever for him. He's just got game out the ass. I'm just an amazing guy as far as talking to females. And, he's the thing is, he's not a dick about it. He's not a narcissist. He's not self-centered. He's one of the most humble persons that I know in my friend circle, in my very close friend circle. I have a best friend that's 30 years of history. And we see each other once every 6 months or something like that in person. Otherwise, we talk, on the internet, maybe every couple of weeks since I was 18 years old, right? So this guy has been holding that place as a best friend, if people are going to label those sort of things, for quite some time. But I have to say, my closest friend, the person that I trust the most, of course, I trust the Hexicans, Kinetics, RG3, Hexologists, all these guys that have been standing and pulling the line for all Hexicans side by side. Crypto Coffee. These are people that I love spending time with that are kind of new in my life, right? And I'm kind of giving you guys a scoop on, I have been pseudo public about who I am, what I do, my history, my background, things like that with the Hexicans over the past 2 years. December 2019, I think streams and things like that when we launched, when Richard launched the Hex product. And of course, I was involved. I was in different things with you guys, but you guys really don't know me. You do not know me. You do not. I think that Kenmon's gonna be able to speak to some of that as far as the truth of history, some of my background, things like that. I regularly went to the Playboy Mansion. I had 12-car stables. I've dated quite a bit. I know where it comes from as far as the money game. I know where the money goes when you spend that money, what you spend it on, what you basically throw away on products and services that are one time and done versus long-lasting wealth. Long-lasting wealth has to do with buying, with your proceeds of your intellectual property, your innovation, your brand, you're breaking through the fog of social media, your money that you get together and, making your money right. Kevin Samuels, another guy that Kenmon will speak about during this program. These are the people that are quote unquote lifestyle coaches because they know what the fuck's going on. They know brand, they know definition, they know how to make 50 grand a month, right? On a regular basis, where they're not monetizing from their audiences. It's the same thing that I'm trying to share with you guys, that I have this background. Part of my background, you guys have known a long time that I used to be a farmer as a kid. I became a special forces medic as a 17-year-old to 22-year-old. So I deployed. I was in war. I've seen people blown up and shit. I was a special forces diver. So I went to Navy dive school. I went to Army jump school. I went to schools where they injure goats. I went through like maybe 50 goats over the course of a month or two, where they injure goats because it simulates the battlefield condition, right? So I know stress. I know strife. After that, I got selected where there's like 10 or 12 people per year that get to go, the Navy sponsors to go to specialized school for all of the heart diagnostics, MRI, CT, echocardiography, cath lab. I used to work on specialty implantable devices. I wouldn't say bionic hearts. They're called left ventricular assist devices. I was a specialist in all of the diagnostic tools that have to do with that. And that was from probably age 23 until maybe 2015, something like that. So I had that background, right? So if you want to talk to professional medical personnel, people that deal with clinical research institutions, people that deal with big pharma, that was me too, right? It's going to sound fucking weird, but I've had these chapters. This is part of my life. It's my background. After that, in the background, I was married to the daughter of a billionaire, of people that were very high up inside of Disney Corporation, associating with ABC, all these different branches that Disney owned at the time. When I got married at age 20, I drove away in Howard Hughes's car, one of Howard Hughes's car at the Spruce Goose in Long Beach, because Disney was controlling all of that property as monetizing this history of, at the time, the Queen Mary and all that stuff. So I got married on the Queen Mary as a 20-year-old into a wealthy family. My family, myself, I was poor. I was dirt poor, right? Raised by a single mom. And I just basically, because of my changing schools so many times as a kid, I sought out brotherhood. And part of that brotherhood seeking was to find, the military, honestly. So when I speak so highly of the Marines that are related, or the military guys that are related to Hex and Hexicans, it is with a strong sense of affection for that culture. It's a strong sense. I wouldn't say I was overly militant. I wasn't, kill them all and let God sort them out kind of personality. I was a medical person, but that's kind of my background too. So that was taking me up to about 30 or so. And then I have to tell you, I went through a divorce, and the divorce was kind, and it was considerate, and it was not that difficult as far as separating what we owned, our properties and stuff like that, our real estate and so forth. At the time, I was a specialist at a clinical research institution, phase 2, phase 3 clinical site. So all of the pharmaceuticals and things like that, as they go through their development process, that was part of my background, part of my life, as a 30 coming into 31-year-old, as a single guy. And that single guy culture, you can spend your money really fast trying to find a replacement, trying to find a partner, trying to find, a conquest, trying to find a way to step up your status, where, peer-to-peer other men are going to respect you and women are going to want to be with you. Right. So I'm talking from the heart today. This is stuff that you guys have never seen about me. Right. It's not self-promoting. It's just the fact of my history. So stepping from that phase, I would say about 34, 35 years old, I was dating someone that was too young for me. I went to Playboy Mansion parties and things like that pretty regularly. Everybody's 21, 23-year-old, super hot girls, models and things like that, basically as arm candy or trophies with people that are celebrity, people that are wealthy, people that are just good networkers, bringing others together. And I was inside that group for a while. I have to say that I probably burned out. I went through that relationship. That was about a 3-year relationship. And at the end of that relationship, which, it wasn't horrible on the end, but it was heartbreaking. It was heartrending for me. And I kind of go through these phases where I remake myself. I change and say, okay, you've been materialistic, narcissistic. You're dating Playboy bunnies and stuff like that, which, is giving you validation. It's, making you feel bigger and better and, filling this hole inside your soul about who you are, right? About, you're defining yourself in a different subset of men, basically, competition. We are all competing. We're competing for status. We're competing for money. We're competing for security, safety. We're competing for a partner that doesn't fuck around on us. We're competing where we fuck around on partners. I mean, we do this shit. It's just the world that we live in. And, I walked through that journey. So I would say about 35, 36, somewhere in there, maybe a little bit later, I went through a phase of go back to my Boy Scout roots. And I sold off just about everything. I sold stables of cars. I sold, several houses. If it didn't fit in a backpack, it didn't need to be in my life. I became a specialist in the medical world, which is a contractor. So when you have a travel physician, travel nurse, travel specialist inside of all these diagnostic things, especially for cardiology, there's agencies, and those agencies get paid by institutions and hospitals. And that's what put me on the road. I lived, I would buy a car, drive it cross country, be on a contract for 13 weeks, and then I would resell that car, jump to the next thing. And I just didn't want to be anchored anywhere. I just wanted not to have a real relationship. I wanted to, basically just let my money get right without having the expense or overhead of a mortgage or housing or, dating long-term that becomes a living girlfriend that becomes a wife. I wanted to be unattached for some time. So even when in 2014, there was a phase where I went through an altruistic phase. I forgot when Katrina happened. I also volunteered in Katrina when that happened. But after Katrina, one of my friends in Ukraine, had told me quite a bit about what was going on with Russia invading the eastern side of Ukraine, and it was going to fall into civil war. I got some kind of wild hair up my ass and decided that I was going to volunteer, and I went to Ukraine. And when I went to Ukraine, the big thing was that, getting set up for these military hospitals. I was part of an NGO, which is a non-government organization. You can't be active duty to do what I did. But I went and I volunteered in Ukraine. I went to Kiev and Poltava and Odessa and all these other, and all the cities that I can't pronounce to the east. And about that same time is when, a civilian airplane got shot down and it crashed. Everybody was killed probably about 10 miles from where I was at. It was in the news. A lot of people saw it. I think it was a Dutch airline. And so, it's a big thing on this world stage about, is Ukraine going to fall into a civil war? Is this going to be an unstable country border between Russia and Europe? And I was volunteering. So I'm just telling you guys, I've had more stories than you could shake a stick at. And one of the reasons I wanted to bring Tropical Brother on is because we've got some pretty amazing announcements on what we're going to be doing going forward to help Hexicans, to help you guys keep your money right, to help you guys, have the status that you're yearning for. I mean, people want to be rich, but why do they want to be rich? Partly is because, you want to have a nicer house, you want a nicer car, you want to date models, you want to go to fashion shows. But do you have to spend your actual dollars on that? Once you have money, there's all kinds of ways that you don't have to spend money. There's all sorts of ways. And I want to teach you guys how to take your Hex gains, roll it into something temporarily, maybe for a couple months, something like that, roll it back out, get cashed out so that you have your money back so that you can restake your Hex and you can put that into the time compounding benefit of Hex. Sorry, when I talk a lot, I got a cough. I got a dry cough. But so that you can keep your money compounding and just amplify your lifestyle through smart leverage. So that's what we're going to be talking about later. Forming entities that control real estate, Instagrammable real estate, buying Ferraris, buying Lamborghinis. That the entity that we control basically owns those assets, but you have access. You can come to our properties that we're going to be setting up, and you can get taught how to form an LLC. We'll help you do it. You can get connected with lawyers and CPAs to keep your money right. You can protect yourself from liability. Some girl wants to sue you because she says something that, did or didn't happen or whatever. You shouldn't go broke. You shouldn't lose millions of dollars because you fucked up or because you get accused of fucking up, right? I'm just trying to tell you that's the straight game, man. So without any further ado, I know I talk a lot. I just want to get that out there and pass over the mic to my really, really good friend, one of my best friends in the world. I mean, really somebody that I've spent, countless amount of adventures with. And I just want to bring on Kenmon. Hey, man, can you hear me?
What's up, Gary? Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I think that the crowd probably can too.
Okay, cool.
But you heard my rant. You heard my story. We've been talking for a bit about this intention between Hexicans that, they're OG, they have money, they have knowledge, they're not just degenerate gamblers that happen to hit a lottery ticket. They're people that already were entrepreneurial, people that already were millionaires or multimillionaires or on the path to it, regardless of if Hex ever landed in their lap. And then you're one of those people. You're one of the people that if I'm going to bring someone to the Hexican community, that I really want you to speak to your experience. Some of the things, how you, just to kind of give these guys a background about you, if you don't mind, kind of tell what I just did. You started out in life a certain place. You've made a journey that's gotten you to where you are now. Just can you share with the Hexicans that are kind of paying attention to this thing, who is Tropical Brother?
Hey guys, so my real name is Kenmon Sanders. They call me Tropical Brother because I love, all things tropical, beaches, islands, all that good stuff. But I got started on my entrepreneurial journey around the age of 19 years old. And at the time I was going to college, and long story short, I had to pay my rent, and my insurance on my car note, refrigerator, you have to have groceries in the refrigerator. All these bills were adding up. I call myself a man. I was independent. So I separated myself from my parents. So it's not like I can ask my parents for some money. So I added up all my bills, and they were around $1,100 a month. And at the time, when I was in college, that was a lot of money. I mean, that was a lot of money. So I knew I couldn't go get a regular 9-to-5, regular minimum wage job and also attend school at the same time. So I had to do something entrepreneurial because it allows you the opportunity to make more money. And so I got started actually in the communications industry, man. I started selling long distance. I'm dating myself now. Uh-oh.
Before you tell about the long distance, can you move your camera so your head's not cut off? Can you just tilt it back a little bit? There you go. That's a better frame. Yeah, that's better. Cool. Yeah, go ahead, man. Right. You're selling long distance.
Yeah, man. I was selling long distance, and also developing a sales team of people who were selling long distance. So, I traveled around the country a good bit while I was still in college. I would go do these sales presentations and these big speaking engagements. And at one time I thought I was going to be a speaker. I said, I'm going to be a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did that for maybe 5 or 6 years. And that business went belly up. And, you have to start over again. So, I got into real estate and started wholesaling houses and retailing houses. And that's a whole long story too, and then, 2008, the crisis happened, all your real estate went away. So in 2008, 2009, I was thinking of, what am I going to do this time? Like, I want a business. We talk about lifestyle a lot, and I want a lifestyle business. I want to be able to travel. I love to travel. Ever since I can remember, it was a website called collegeclub.com. And it was like before Facebook. It was before MySpace even. And in my bio, I said, I love to travel, make money, and probably beaches or something like that. I just remember saying I like to travel and make money. I'm 18 years old saying this. I'm still saying this till this day, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, so I said I wanted to make money online. The internet, I heard about this internet thing. A lot of people making money. So I tried every single way that you can think of to make money online. I've tried to do SEO. I would build websites for local businesses. AdSense, anything you can think of to make money online, I would do it. But what I was doing was I was on YouTube one day I was on YouTube. I saw an ad or something like that. Anyway, long story short, it was a course about how to make money selling t-shirts. And this was probably this was maybe around 8 years ago or something like that. So I looked up the guy who was selling, and it was a guy named Don Wilson. Shout out Don Wilson. So he had a course on how to make money selling t-shirts. And what you would do is you would build up a Facebook fan page with a lot of followers, and then you would just post a picture of the t-shirt to that fan page, and then you would make sales. The problem was the course cost $300. And at the time, I didn't have $300. So I torrented the course. I went to one of those hacker sites. I got the course for free. And I got the course, and I went through the course, and I was trying to make some money, and I started spending money in advertising. This was Facebook advertising was very new. Still, this was like 2012, 2013. It was still very new.
Yep.
And anyway, so I couldn't quite figure out, how to put all the pieces together in the course. But it was the guy online, this guy named Nishant. And I didn't know him from anybody other than he would always be in this Facebook group I was in. It was a Facebook group for people who want to make money selling t-shirts on Facebook, right? So this guy will always be online. If it was 3 o'clock in the morning or if it was, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I thought he was in another country. So he posted in a group that he had just made $5,000. And to me, $5,000 was all the money in the world, right? I'm like, 5,000, I couldn't even fathom $5,000 at the time. And I knew I needed a mentor because I talk about coaches and mentors a lot.
Yeah.
And at the time, Don Wilson, multi-millionaires, this guy was too successful for me. I couldn't afford his mentorship program. I even remember he had a mastermind that he did in Jamaica. And so I got the course like in December or maybe November. And then he did a mastermind in Jamaica in February, and it was $2,000.
Yeah.
And I was trying to scrape together $2,000. I couldn't afford it. So I missed that. I missed the mastermind. So anyway, I reached out to Nishant and I say, hey man, I see you making money on this Facebook thing. I just wanted to reach out to you, tell you, I'm doing the same thing. But I never asked them for anything. I would always just call and try to give value. I always tell people that if you go to a bank and you try to withdraw money from the bank before you put money in, that's in itself non-sufficient funds.
Yep.
Right. So I got his information. He gave me his Skype and everything. And when I would message him, it would always be like, hey, here's a new niche. Hey, you can make money doing this. And he would make money with my ideas. I just didn't know how to monetize them. I knew they were, great ideas. I knew that you could make money with them, but I didn't know how to connect all the dots. So he would make money and come back and say, hey, I made this amount of money, or I made this amount of money. And then I said, hey, by the way, is it possible for me to just come to where you are? I can come to where you are. And if you could just, I'm very close. I've spent thousands of dollars and I'm showing them all the money I'm spending and investing. And I'm just not quite, getting it. So he said, yeah. One day maybe you can come. So I didn't sweat it. Still adding value. I found out his birthday, sent him cookies, call him, tell him, sing him happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Hey, I've gotten that song before, man. You're really good about that stuff, dude. I mean, out of the blue, it's like, what is this guy singing me happy birthday whenever we went to Jamaica? I was like, what is going on, dude? Like you're that social hack. And the thing is, it's not fake. Like you can sign up for services and services will remember birthdays and they will, send out an automatic card and things like that. But you know that that's canned, but you are an authentic person, and your authentic person, I think, is really testament to your salesmanship, both of yourself and your ability, but, product. I've never seen you represent something that wasn't fitting the actual need of the customer. And that also goes to the social capital. You were building social capital with me. You found me through YouTube, like 7 years or something like that, right? Reach out to me through YouTube. And, this was just like a social capital thing that you did. You did the same thing with me. We part of our bond and our bridge and how we've worked together, and been, such close friends is because you have to deal with integrity. If you're a pirate capitalist and you're just like, how can I fuck over this other guy? How can I get this other person's money? How can I, get advantage in almost like a opponent team kind of way? You're going to mess up. I think this collaboration thing is really what you can bring as a coach, a lifestyle coach for these new guys that are, whether they're nouveau rich or they just want to be rich. They want to build social capital. They want to build, revenue that doesn't have anything to do with crypto. I think that you're just one of those best people to speak to that kind of stuff because you are an authentic guy. It's really amazing.
Well, one book that I can recommend for people until we get to that point is How to Win Friends and Influence Other People. And I read this book every single year because once I read the book, I will understand the concepts. I know I need to be quiet. We have 2 ears, 1 mouth. We need to listen twice as much as we talk, right? and in the book, it talks about, talking to other people and finding out what they're interested in and talk about that kind of stuff. After about a year, I started talking about myself too much. So I know it's time to read the book again. But How to Win Friends and Influence Other People. You can even listen to it on audio on YouTube for free. I mean, no excuses. You can get the book for $1 on Amazon. So getting back to Nishant, he called me one day and he said, hey man, I live in the St. Louis area He said, be here Monday morning and I'll coach you. I'll mentor you. So I hung up my phone and turned my phone off because I didn't want him to call me back and say, hey, man, I changed my mind. Now,
that's the same thing with setting a date with a hot girl. You just can't cancel now.
Right. The problem was there was no way for me to fly from Georgia. I was living in Georgia at the time and get to his office by Monday morning. So I packed my bags right when he told me this. I went straight to the airport, bought a flight to go to St. Louis, and that was Sunday. I slept in the airport that night. I couldn't afford a hotel room. And then that morning, I got on a shuttle to this little town called Jackson, Missouri. It's like in the middle of nowhere. So anyway, so I showed up at his office. It was like, he told me to be there at 10. I was there early, 9:30. And so when I got there, I still didn't ask him to help me with my business. I said, hey, what's the weakest part of your business? What part do you need help with? And basically, he was like a 2-man team at the time. You know, he had a guy that would upload the designs. He had another, and he would do the marketing. He needed somebody to create the ads, you know, create the actual ad that you see. So he said, do you know how to do that? I didn't know how to do that, but guess what I told him? Yep, I know how to do that. So he showed me how to do it really quick, how he wanted it done, and we just created a machine where I would create the ads. He had another guy to upload them, and then he would do the advertising. And we did that for a week. And from like early in the morning till late at night, I slept in his office for like the first couple of days. And that's because I couldn't afford a hotel room. I think around the 3rd or 4th day, he felt sorry for me. He was like, man, you want to come crash on my couch or something like that? So I ended up
let's make a comment about that. You know, the reason why people are successful is because they're doing the things that other people won't do. You know, other people would say, you know, it's inconvenient. I don't have the money. They would use it as a stumbling block or an obstacle. They wouldn't make the trip. They wouldn't reach out to this guy and say, what part of your business do you need assistance in? What part can I, you know, contribute my time and energy to deliver, you know? And so when people say, hey, you got in early, hey, you did that thing, of course, that obvious idea that you executed, somebody else could have done. Well, they didn't do that, right? The reason you're successful, is because you do things that other people won't. I'm going to get some more water. I'm going to put you on main screen for a second.
Okay. So basically, working with him for the entire week, you know, and on the side note is a lot of people will say, like, you mean to tell me that you flew to halfway across the country, you paid for it, he didn't pay you anything, you did it on your own dime? And I was like, yes, I would do it again. I would have even paid him, but I didn't have the money. So I just found a way to add value to him. And that was like my form of payment. But in working with him for that entire week, I saw what I was missing, what I wasn't doing in my business. And then I went back the next week and I made my first $1,000. So then I started making like a couple of $1,000s a month online. And then I started making like $6,000 or $7,000 a month online. And then towards the end of the year, this was like in the beginning of the year. So this was around February. I remember because I went to Missouri in February. I'm a tropical brother. So I'm allergic to cold weather. I almost died. But anyway, so towards the end of the year, he said, hey, man, you want to move to, he said, hey, why don't you move to Missouri? Oh, and then in between that, we made money together. Like the ideas I was telling him about, then he would put up the money and I would do all the work and then we would split the profits. Yeah. So we made thousands of dollars doing that, right? So we became friends that way. So anyway, he said around November, so he said, hey, man, once you move to Missouri, we can make a bunch of money together. And I hung up the phone. I turned my phone off because I didn't want him to call me back. So yeah, I packed up all my stuff in my car and I drove to Missouri, and I lived there for a few years, and that really changed my life because that's when I started making the really big money. You know, like my first goal was I wanted to make $1,000 in a day. I had never made $1,000 in a day before. So within 30 days of me moving, you know, close to the fire, you know, close to iron sharpens iron, right? So I made my first $1,000 in a day. I wanted to make $10,000 in a month. I had never done that. Within my first 30 days, I made $10,000 in a month. Then I made $20,000. Then I made $53,000 in a month. And I remember when I made the $53,000, when I hit around $35,000, I started again, I made this in a year before. So 35,000 in a month. I just start yelling and screaming, thanking God. I was like, oh yeah, thank you, thank you. And I just was like, wow. So I paid off all my debt, paid off my student loans, you know, and then, you know, just kept growing from there. I hit my first $100,000 a month. Then I hit a $200,000 a month. So I, you know, to be able to make six figures in a month when I, you know, struggling to do that in a year before, was really a blessing. And my first month making $1,000, I don't have it pulled up right now, but I traveled for maybe 28 of the 30 days. I mean, I went to Brazil, Colombia, India. I went back. This was in November. I went back to Jacksonville to visit my family for Thanksgiving. I mean, just traveling around, just enjoying life, but still able to generate that type of income. And that's the power of the internet. So that's like just a short story of me. And again, it was just selling t-shirts on the internet, you know. So you don't have to have any great ideas. You don't have to have any, you don't even have to reinvent any new ideas. It's just, you said something similar earlier, but a friend of mine told me one time, he said, there will always be opportunity thanks to others' lack of initiative. People just don't have the initiative. They don't have the drive. And then when they start, they quit too soon. You know, I'm a stickler for customer service. So if a customer came to me and like one time I printed some t-shirts and they misspelled, even though I sent it to the company correct, the company misprinted the t-shirts. So somebody came and complained about it. So I just paid for it on my own dime. I said, you keep that shirt, I'll repay for it myself and send it to them. You know, I'm just a stickler because I'm a customer, you know, and I know how I want to be treated.
People, you know, that's how they come back, is it because hey, this guy's going to fix the wrong. You know, here's what I thought I was going to get. Here's my intention. Hang on just one second. Let me recognize some of these people who've been donating to the chat. Hey guys, I really appreciate it. If you can smash that like button, if you can retweet, put this on tweet, you know, share it later. There's a lot of people that need to see this content. You know, we have been on Discourse building this band of brotherhood, and it's been great to have the camaraderie, to have the socialization. You know, for many times that I've come on in the past on Discourse Syndicate, I love the brotherhood, the conversation, but also I see it as opportunity lost, where I can be building company, I can be building brand, I can be selling product, I can be, you know, fixing my finance myself. So sometimes I'm a little bit too much about logistics, and, you know, 4 hours spent on a social stream, I love to invest it every so often, but this is the kind of content that coming forward, when you see I'm going to be publishing on the Discourse Syndicate Network, it is going to be about making money, not just putting it in crypto and letting it 1000x, but making money. How can you build a company? How can you build a brand? How can you build an influence, right? How can you associate with people that have influence and network, right? So it's basically the access kind of thing. The second thing I'm going to be doing is helping you guys as my program goes forward, as my stuff on the Discourse Syndicate Network comes forward. Follow me on YouTube, my own channel, FundingGym. Make sure that you're liking, subscribing that content there too. But when I come on these channels for Discourse Syndicate, it is partly to build that collaborative network and that momentum. So I just want to highlight that. So let me get through some of these things. You guys, you're doing great. I know that it's about 15 minutes back, but I'm going to start recognizing, talking about the football game. Let's see, always testing multitasking. I know that people right now are mowing the yard, listening to this like a podcast. They were telling me it earlier. And this is a good one. Used to collect dimes. Exo Joe, this guy, music guy too, used to collect dimes. Now I collect dimes because we're talking about girls. We're talking about status. We're talking about influence. We're talking about, why do you want number go up? Is it just to get a bigger house? Why do you want number go up? Is it just to get a fancier car? Well, why do you want a big house and a nice car? Well, most of the time, I have to be really honest with you guys. It is because you're wanting access to females. You're wanting options. We live in a hypergamy world, right or wrong, blue pill, red pill, I don't give a fuck. It's just the way that it is. The way that it is the top 3% of earners in the United States, maybe around the world, have access to 95% of females. They just do, because they have the confidence, they have the drive, they have the ambition to basically make their money right. And when they make their money right, they build network. I mean, you rarely can get serious money without building network, without tapping the shoulder of other men. And, again, I'm not trying to be sexist. I want all the feminists. I don't want Nerd Girl to come in here and blast me. Please, please, Nerd Girl, please don't blast me. But it is basically this world that we live in. And so we want, you know, women might seek wealth because they want safety, security, nurturing. And they're kind of programmed that they can do this stuff on their own, which they can if they choose to. Men, since time immemorial, for tens of thousands of years, you know, we make hunting parties, we defend, you know, the tribe, we do all kinds of things that basically are part of this collaborative world. And now we live in a finance world where your status, how close you get to the tribal chief, how close you are to the, you know, the right-hand man and things like that, that matters. That's part of your status. And the way that we define it now in 2020 is money. You know, how do you have access to money? How do you have access to these displays of status? How does Richard Hart have $1 million worth of wristwatches that's just in the background, just as trinkets, right? It is part of this status game. And Richard talks about this too. You know, he does the Tony Robbins thing. He spent like $100,000 on going to Tony Robbins Mastermind classes and stuff like that. It's part of understanding your role as a man. It's part of your understanding of your role as an alpha, as someone that is going to take names, kick ass, and make your money right and keep it. You know, it's not that hard to make money. It's hard to keep money, right? So I want to talk about that. So let me share, you know, again, these guys that have been, I saw a donation earlier. I think it was from Hex Monkey. I think the time might have gone by, but Hex Monkey, thanks a ton. I know that he made this donation of $36 earlier. That was amazing. I'm sorry I talked over it. The next one, Franklin. What is this? This is going to Tropical Brother. What do you have to say about this? This Franklin. He lives. I think he's in Miami, but he's been here. You might have met him. He was here in Puerto Rico, maybe the same time you were, bro. What do you say about this? Keeping the dreads fresh.
Man, you just gotta ask for recommendations, man. I get on YouTube. I'm sorry, not YouTube, but Instagram, and or either Google, and I just type in whatever city I'm in and dreadlocks, and then just see what pops up, and I just look at the reviews. And then sometimes I'll know people in the country I'm in, and they can refer me. But that's basically it, man. I just most of the time just go on Instagram and type in, like I'm in Medellin now, so I type in Medellin dreadlocks, and then I'll see, and then I'll communicate with those people, and then see, you know, what kind of work they've done in the past. And just pick one of them. It's
funny he brought that up because when I saw you last, I was in Medellin from like mid-April until May or something like that. And on my last day, I think you had to take a flight or something. You know, I come to your apartment. You've got a baller ass apartment, and there's a guy that's doing dreads on you. You know, he's all like, tighten it up. You know. Oh yeah, that is right. yeah, that's and you know, I have him come see me. Yeah. You know, people say, oh, you know, the barber comes to you, the guy that does your hair comes to you. Yeah. When you're rocking the status that you should be rocking as a man, people come to you, you know. Right. There's even this thing about do you have to have a supercar so that you get there quick? No, you can drive a very slow car because they'll wait. If you're the right man, exactly. They'll wait. Exactly. Yeah, I have them come to me, man. I heard a young lady say yesterday, I was watching a YouTube video, and she said a king doesn't go out. He doesn't go out and to really visit other people. He said he has them come to his castle. Yeah. So yeah, I have the people, I have the, you know, whatever dates, business. I have them come over here. Yeah. Home court advantage. home court advantage, and it is holding court. and then again, it's not, I just want to frame this. It's not in a belittle the audience around you kind of way. It is part of that Dale Carnegie win friends, influence people skill set that you develop through education of other people that know how the psychology of humans works. And so when you hold court, so to speak, or people are coming to you, it is because you have established yourself, made your money right, made your network, made your network right, made the, you know, all these things aligned with the direction in life that you want to lead. Yeah, it's really cool. So let me get this one again. Brizology, always a great supporter. Thanks so much. That let's go. There's another one I saw. Here's the Hex Monkey one. Thanks for the gold. Thanks so much, man. 369, you know, has to do with the code of Hex. That's why there's always 369 kind of symbology. And shout out to Hex Monkey. I'll praise him constantly. You know, I was in Vegas and I was fucked up. Whatever was going on with me, I was fucked up. I had the vaccine. I did a bunch of drywall. I probably had COVID. I took 3 different tests. I took a blood test as well. 3 of the tests said negative. Because I got the vaccine, the blood test said I had the antibodies. So I don't know if the antibodies came from the vaccine or the antibodies came because I had COVID. I don't know. But I know that I was delirious. I know that Hex Monkey took care of me. You know, we extended 4 or 5 days. We changed to a different Airbnb. He convinced me not to fly until I was basically safe to do so. You know, I had a supercar that I didn't drive, you know, for 4 days or whatever. So I just didn't associate with anybody. And Hex Monkey really saved my life. He was an amazing guy. I really appreciate him.
What's up, Hex Monkey?
Yeah, man. Good stuff. See if there's any other super chats. Anybody else wants to support the channel? That'd be appreciated. It doesn't go to me. It goes to the channel. It goes to us distributing content for everybody. So let's get back to what you were saying earlier about, you know, your journey where you're making 100 grand or so, 200 grand or so from t-shirts. And I kind of know, I've explained it before, you know, you move on to new ways of making money. You every so often you reinvent and say that's either getting stale or maybe the ROI on time is changing. But I know that you used to do this Venn diagram. You used to look at Instagram, figure out the market that exists that never has seen the product you're going to put in front of them. So I think that that was an amazing tool. But I know that you also met Tai Lopez and his climb in the internet, I don't know, meme, the meme of Tai Lopez. What can you speak to about some of these other guys that have basically cracked the code on making money? You know, because you associate with these people.
Yeah, I met Ty back in, I think, 2016, I think, or something like that. This is a crazy story, man. It's just, so the same guy in the shunt, he bought Ty's 67 steps. You know, I heard of Ty, but I didn't really know him. And I think that course is $67. So they called him, the people from Ty's office called Nishant and upsold him to another course for like $1,000. So he said, hey, bro, I'm thinking about doing this thing for $1,000. What do you think? I said, yeah, go ahead and do it. He said, you want to go in half on it with me? I was like, okay. So then they called him and upsold him to like I don't know if it was $10,000 or $25,000, like some type of mastermind. He calls me up again and said, hey, man, you want to go half on this mastermind with me? I'm like, okay, man. So then he calls me back up again and he says, Ty has like the top level mastermind course. It's like I think it was like $130,000 or $140,000. So he called me. He said, "Hey man, you wanna split it with me?" I didn't really want to split it with him.
You're like, damn, that's 65 grand, man. I don't know how
right.
That's a lot of popping bottles.
Yeah, but again, you know, it's like me and you, man. Once you start making money with somebody, and we have exchanged hundreds of thousands of dollars in between us.
Yeah.
So I trust this man with, you know, I trust him with
between
anything,
you and me.
You know?
It's the same thing. I mean, you build a rapport, and it's nothing to do with taking advantage of your partner, saying, how can we synergize? You know, if you're going to go on a hunting party and you're going to flank left and he's going to flank right, and you're going to capture the bunny in the middle, you know, that's how you become successful.
Right. So I went to the bank. I you know, wrote him a check or whatever for like 65 grand. I sent it to him. And the funny thing is, I just sent him cash. It wasn't like a check or anything. He could have kept the money, you know? So anyway, so now we are in a part of like Tai Lopez's high level mastermind, right?
Yep.
Okay. I go to Brazil for, I took my dad actually. Yeah. Me and my dad, we went to Brazil for Carnival. And I left Brazil and you talk about the Playboy Mansion. So, I went to a party for the Playboy Mansion. I got 2 tickets because I wanted my friend Nishant to go with us to the Playboy Mansion. While I'm at
Wait a minute. I didn't know that. So you've been in the grotto too, half naked with you know, white party and shit like that. Did you ever go to the Midsummer's Eve event? Did you go to that one?
I didn't go to that one. But
that's the baller one, dude. That's amazing. That's like all costumes and stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Midsummer's Night Eve or something like that. I've heard of it. I've seen it. I know people that's been.
Yeah.
But I never made that one. So this was like the last party that the Playboy Mansion put on. So this was like 2016 or something like that.
That's about
so
that
anyway,
same time, you know, when Hugh was getting older, you know, I met him like 3 or 4 times.
There.
It was but it was the Holly Madison. When I was doing it, mostly was when Girls Next Door was on MTV constantly. The girl I was dating was into that show a lot. And so we would go pretty regular to the Playboy Mansion thing. And, and it was, you know, it was Kendra and Holly Madison and whatever the other chick was. And so those are the celebrities because they're on MTV. Yeah. And then I remember, like, you know, something happened. I didn't drink a lot, but I remember like trying in these fancy shoes, these alligator kind of, you know, curl up, whatever shoes I was wearing or something. And I tried to jump from one side of the grotto across this little waterway or whatever to get to the other side without getting in the pool. Slipped and busted my ass, you know. You know, but it was a story. I mean, you know, I had all these like 6 or 7 girls going, "Oh, can we help? Can we help you?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I need to slip and fall one more time, man." You know,
they need to slip and fall.
It's amazing.
So yeah, man. So we walking around like Ray Dalio is there. Ray Dalio, if you don't know, he owns Patron, owns Fidel, is it Sassoon? What's the 2 names in the hair care company? I can't think of the name of it right now. But anyway, as we walking around the Playboy Mansion, who do I run into? Ty Lopez. And I was like, "Hey man, I just gave you like $10,000 or something like that." Yeah, I just gave you like a bunch of money. He was like, "Man, who are you?" I said, "I'm Kenmon, man. I just gave you a bunch of money. You need to know who I am." So his assistant was right there. She was like, "Yeah, that's Kenmon and that's Nishan. Like, you know, they're in your top level mastermind." So long story short, he said, "Okay, cool, man. Come over to the house tomorrow." So we go there just to talk to the people at Playboy or whatever. And we end up getting invited to his house the next day. So we go to his house the next day. He invites us in. He has a chef cook us food and everything like that. And we just hang out for like a few hours or whatever. And then he invited us back the next day. So we go back the next day. And then, you know, later on, we did business mastermind stuff. But I mean, it's just crazy, man, how once you get out there and you start doing the things that you want to do, you know, you start living your life on your own terms, forgetting what anybody else says, you know, things just start to work out for you, you know. So yeah, so that's my little Ty Lopez story.
That's a great comment you just made about, you know, putting yourself out there, being bold enough, because you might fall down 20 times, but you're going to get through eventually if you're persistent, right? Persistent. Exactly.
They say a righteous man falls down 7 times and still gets up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still gets up.
And you pierce through. So when I was doing all that stuff, you know, I had a phase where I was doing all that. And then I basically, you know, kind of dampened down and so forth. You found me through YouTube.
Right.
I found Snaybot and Sam Capizzi and Rob Beatles through YouTube and made those connections. That's one of the reasons I moved to Puerto Rico, actually.
Right.
And then recently, you know, a lot of people know that I went to this Miami event. They don't know that I was, you know, I was like member or whatever, subscriber number 300 or 500 on George Gammon's channel 3 or 4 years ago. And that parlayed basically into a relationship. And then when I went to the Miami event, all of the panelists, there was like 13, 14 panelists, Robert Kiyosaki, all these other people. And, you know, through that same kind of association without, you know, not over ingratiating yourself, but basically that association, that confidence, you get invited to these types of things, right? So similarly, I'm part of a mastermind group that is called The Collective. A lot of people don't know this, but when I invest, I'm not just investing for myself, I'm investing for Hexicans. And part is to break through the fog of the internet, of, you know, the crypto space that all of us have been talking to and other crypto influencers. I'm talking to the people that are the finance world. They're talking, you know, the Mike Maloneys, the Peter Schiffs, the Jason Hartmans, the Robert Kiyosakis. These guys have huge audiences, and they are talking finance. They're talking real estate. They're not talking crypto specifically. And I want to get in front of these guys. So I'm part of The Collective. The Collective is a mastermind group. It's I think the tuition is something like 40 grand a year. So I just paid 40 grand, you know, the other day. And it's basically so that we're going to go to these, you know, go to Argentina as a group of like 4 or 5, 6 guys, these leaders. Ken Bringle is worth $1 billion, in real estate. Kiyosaki, he's older now. He's in his 70s, I think now. So he probably won't go to as many events, but I got invited to his house and stuff. So I'm doing these things to break through both brand and to basically give Hexicans that are nouveau rich tools to keep their money. So I really wanted to talk about that a little bit. So let me segue over into this conversation. We've got another hour and a half, and I wanted to highlight, the fact that you have a knowledge base that we can go on for hours. I'm going to have you on program again in the future, but I don't want to spill all of the history publicly on all of these streams, because the value add of association and the camaraderie is that bond, that bridge, that power of network. And what I want to do is what I did in Silicon Valley. When I was 2014, I started my company, one of my companies, and it was an accelerator. And basically in Silicon Valley, living 1 block away from Steve Jobs' house, 2 blocks away from the founder of Google's house, 3 blocks away from Stanford, which is where all of these tech people come. This is the place where you get your VC. These are where the angels live. And so I hosted 15, maybe 20 people, on a nightly basis. Basically, I leased a property that was a big house in Palo Alto. I was paying like $7-8 grand a month, plus the utilities of about $1,500 or something like that. And I was making probably $28,000 a month in rent, basically. So I was doing just a rent game more than a network game. And part of it was a dormitory, part of it was a live work area, part of it was an entertainment space as far as the property itself. And I didn't own that property. I think it was a $6 million property, but I leased it. Maybe it was a little bit less. Maybe it was like $4 million. But I leased it, and I leased it on contract. Anyway, that was just to get money rolling in addition to my cardiology career that I was working on. And I want to do the same thing for the Hexicans. What I want to do is I'm talking to some of the OG. If you guys are in the audience and you have some money, you have some significant rungs that are coming out, you might consider working with us on, we're going to form LLCs. The LLCs will own real estate. So if you're a member of an LLC, the underlying asset value of the real estate itself is part of your stake, so to speak. So basically, when you're buying into one of the LLCs with us, we will first capture the property, and the property will be things that are Instagrammable, basically that are showing lifestyle. Let me do a share here. Let me share a window example. So let's see if I can add this in. So, the thing we're talking about doing, with Kenmon, with, potentially Kinetics, other people, RG3, whomever wants to be a real estate owner, you can directly own real estate, or you can have a membership seat on the LLC that owns the real estate, that controls the real estate. Partly that helps you with your legal liability, slip and fall, things like that, to have it inside of an entity. It protects your other assets and so forth, the other properties that you might control. But partly is because you can buy a seat, and the seat will generate a cash flow from the tenant base. You can have a long-term tenant, which is like moms and dads and families raising their kids. You can have short-term tenants, which are like Airbnb and VRBO people that are just trying to vacation somewhere. You can have basically a university, which is our plan. Our plan is to basically have the asset, which is the real estate itself, have supercars, Ferraris and Lamborghinis in the driveway, so that when university, people wanting to learn how to get their LLC, how to set up their trust based on their jurisdiction, they want to have professionals that are lawyers and CPAs talk to them in the evening. They want to have lifestyle coaches like yourself that can get them into the hot clubs in Miami or Medellin or wherever it is that we're going to be setting these things up. So if you want to be part of that status upgrade, this is basically the plan that we're going to go through with. So this is just an example. There's different things. I'm right now shopping. I'm selling a $2.4 million property in California. When that exits in the next 10 days or so, I need to buy something else in a 1031 exchange. And I was thinking about Puerto Rico, but Puerto Rico roads, as you know, are shit. So driving supercars, they do have Lamborghini and Ferrari dealerships here, Maserati dealerships, but I, for the life of me, can't think of more than 20% of Puerto Rican roads that, you know, other than a Jeep should be on. Don't you agree?
Yeah, a Jeep is ideal, man. A Wrangler, 4-door.
Yeah. So, but when you talk about Miami, the female culture there and the male culture, it's money. It's about, can I be at the pool and take pictures to build their brand and influence all these hot girls and stuff? Can I, as a man, can I upgrade my status and perception of my wherewithal, my finance, my money, right? You know, that I'm smart enough to invest into things that are long-term wealth creators instead of just expense, right? So that's where our plan is. We're probably going to form LLC. We will form LLCs. We're going to basically have it where, you know, you have, you know, the fancy, you know, class, which is like a 4-bedroom or 5-bedroom house that you can come and you can associate with other Hexicans or Pulsechains or other crypto people. But basically you have to have wherewithal. You want to be ambitious. You want to learn how to make 100 grand, 200 grand a month because of, you know, selling t-shirts. We've got the guy. You want to talk about brand and social media, you know, influence, you know, these videographers, Matt and so forth, that I hired, me and Kurkowski hired to bring to Las Vegas. You know, that's their clientele. That's exactly their expertise. So we would bring them in as educators, you know, to teach, you know, part of the class and the seminars and stuff like that we would have in-house. So during the day, a guy, you know, maybe 4 or 5 guys could come for a week and they can get schooled, major schooled. They can get educated on the legal, the liability, the, you know, how do you take a stake if it's coming out of Hex, convert it into cash, convert that cash into ownership of a cash flowing property as far as title rights to a real estate, you know, as far as ownership rights to real estate. And then we are forcing up the rent rolls. When we force up the rent rolls, and we can show that over the course of about 3 to 4 months after purchase of a piece of real estate, we can show the trend to say, here's the $1.8 million house that we bought, but we forced up the rent. The rent is now, you know, 20 grand, maybe 25 grand per month, right? Because we're going to be rotating, you know, once a week, 4 guys or women to go through these education classes. So we will be showing to banks that the value of the property is greater than a single family home. The value of the property, the rent rolls basically force up the equity of the property itself. And what that means is we're able to pull out almost all of the equity, if not all of the cost of buying it, right? And then we can distribute, because we're pulling debt out of the real estate through a loan, through a refinance, cash out refinance. Then we can put that cash back into the LLC owner's hands. They get their money back. When they get their money back, they restake it in Hex. They put it 6 months, 2 years, 5 years. They do what they want to with their money, but they have ownership rights in the LLC. They have cash flow from the real estate property that's underlying asset. They have limited liability protection as far as the LLC legal protection on their asset classes, so that they have a slip and fall or they have a fender bender or whatever it is in their normal life. This asset is not touchable, right? There's a corporate veil. So I want to teach these guys, Hexicans, new and old, and ones that are coming on board as the community grows, how to upgrade your lifestyle, upgrade your money, protect what you've already got, restake it into Hex, you know, so that it compounds exactly the way, you know, this thing is designed. And you can have, you know, an Instagrammable, brandable, you know, experience that goes on your Instagram. Say, hey, you know, I was driving a Ferrari, you know, last week. You know, I went to the Sugar or to whatever the big the venue in Miami was last week. It just amplifies your gravitas, and it amplifies your access to network of other men that make money. Don't you agree?
Definitely.
Yeah. So this is basically just one example. Another house I was looking at. This one's 2.3 million. Basically, you know, I would make something that would be a compound. This is a place where you can keep boats and stuff like that. I don't think anybody's going to be buying a yacht. I don't want to do that. It's just too much maintenance. Even Ben Mala, it's worth like $250 million, talks about his yacht being a pain in the ass. But, you know, something like this at the end of one of these keys in, you know, in Miami, makes it, hey, this is a sunken pit social environment. You're going to basically be able to display almost like these influence houses that happen in LA with a lot of YouTubers. It's going to be that kind of environment, right? You're going to have classroom, and guess what? It will be tax deductible because you're getting an educational seminar, right? You would be writing to a corporation your membership or your visit or booking out appointments to be with us for a week or so, learn all of these things that nobody else is going to teach you. They're just not going to teach you. We're going to teach you because I want Hexicans to become wealthy. I want them to stay wealthy. And the better tools we can bring to the purpose, the more successful we're going to be as a community. So this is just another example. House, other examples. These are things that are photographable. These are things that you have 5 or 6 supermodel 9s or 10s that are just chilling in the background of a swank evening party at the end of your seminar day or whatever. Right? We're going to teach you guys. This is the kind of environment you want to be in, especially in Miami. Right?
It's beautiful, man.
Yeah. So that's the idea behind like the real estate purchases and the entity stuff. There's other houses as examples, but we're going to have supercar. You can pick up a supercar for 150 grand, maybe 200 grand. It doesn't have to be something that gets to the racetrack and constant maintenance. You have to worry about the brakes and things like that if you own it yourself. But you can basically display the fact that you had access to this for this amount of time during a week-long seminar or something like that. Same thing. We'll do an Aventador, or we'll do some kind of Huracan or something like that, and it'll be just available so that when you Kenmon, if you're the access to the nightlife guy, you roll up with 3 or 4 supercars and 4 or 5 guys, and you're going to pull into one of these events, you're going to get attention. You're gonna have, and we'll have somebody that's a photographer to document all this stuff, so you don't have to have your own selfie, hold your camera at your arm's length, and try and prove that you were really somewhere.
Right.
But that's the plan. That's what we're going to be setting up right now. I'm going to roll over my own couple $1 million from real estate into the first property because it'll be a 1031 exchange, and then once the property is titled. I'll reach out to guys that say, hey, do you want to be a co-owner? Here is exactly the business plan. Here's exactly the execution, right? I don't need to make all this money by myself. I'm going to do this university regardless, but I don't have to own the property by myself. I can actually own it with other LLC members, get you guys to have ownership class rights and cash flow. Once you have your your cash back in your hand from a refi, cash out refi, and you just stake it right back in Hex. You put it in P-Hex, E-Hex, you keep your Pulse, whatever it is. And we're going to build a network. This will be the first type, but we're going to build a network. I think that Miami is number one to me right now. I don't think of LA the same way as I used to. It's just too expensive. It's not just too expensive. It's too spread out. I don't like LA. I definitely don't like San Francisco. You don't really need a supercar kind of display in New York. So when you think about the US, where else? Because that's where we can refinance and we can pull out cash. Puerto Rico, you can do it too, but where else in the US do you think of? Do you think of like Atlanta as a hot spot? What do you think of as a display of status kind of spot in the US? I think of Miami, but I don't know where else.
Yeah, New York is one, but it's just so cold in the wintertime.
Yeah.
There's only 3 reasons why I go to New York: June, July, and August.
That's funny. Yeah. But, that's kind of, I'm going to stop sharing this. That's kind of the plan with regard to what's going to be coming up. We're going to be forming a Hex University. The Hex University is basically going to not just be, here's how you stake it, here's how you move it, here's how your tax protection, here's how you document it for your, for your CPA. That's one element that there's plenty of people who put courses online and teach. But we're going to have in person, a leader, like you might have it for a week, 1 week of the month. Kinetics may have it a different week. I may have it a third week. And we're going to rotate these guys that already were successful and teach how to make money. you know, just even through the regular association of, you know, you go out to a club with someone for the evening, you learn how they did that Venn diagram, how they basically overlapped, you know, populations to find a niche and then, you know, market to that niche something that they've never seen before, that they're going to have an appetite for, you know? So what do you think about this? You want to be a lifestyle coach and help these guys keep their money and keep their, and up their game?
Yeah, man, I'm all for helping people, man. I love helping people. I love seeing the transformation, you know. Yeah, that's what I'm here for. That's
awesome. So tell us about Medellin life. Why is it that you love Brazil and Medellin so much? Out of all of the places you've lived in the world, why is it you're such a I know the answer, but you know, I want the audience to hear the answer.
I have multiple answers, but I love the culture here, the cultura. Yeah, I love the culture, man. The Medellin people are very, very nice. I like the food. Of course, I like the women. The climate, it's a little too cold to go swimming every single day, but basically the climate is 75 degrees all year long, like every day. So they call it the city of eternal spring because it's always springtime weather. And the cost of living, you know, I tell people make money in the first world and spend it in the third world. Now, and when you think of third world, you're thinking of like dirt roads and, you know, no internet.
Roosters and chickens, man, yeah.
It's not like that. It's not like what the media portrays. It's not like I've never seen Narcos, but it's not like that either.
Yeah.
Only based on what people have told me about Narcos. But
yeah,
I feel safer here than I do walking around in America. You know, I'm in an area called Poblado. It's kind of like saying the Manhattan of New York or the Buckhead of Atlanta.
Yep.
So it's like the nicest area in the city for what most people think. But yeah, so the only thing is the language barrier. But I think it's cool to speak multiple languages, you know, which is another part of the reason that I moved here is because I want to be fluent in Spanish.
Yeah.
And when I lived in Puerto Rico, I lived in a tourist area. Everybody spoke English. So I wasn't like forced to learn Spanish. But here, I mean, like I went and got some empanadas earlier. I went to the gym earlier. Everybody speaks Spanish.
Right.
So you're going to pick it up. I mean, even if you don't go to a school, you're just going to pick it up because every day you can't just say, hello, how you doing? You have to say, hola, ¿cómo estás? Or hola, ¿qué tal? You know, ¿cómo vas? That kind of thing.
Oh, man, you have improved. You were here in Puerto Rico for like a year and a half, and I never heard you really talk that much.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to comment again. So you're somebody that's a lifestyle coach in my mind. You can really help these guys make money, keep money. This is a comment that you saw me put up on the screen. It said, nobody talks about it, but a massive piece of this lifestyle should probably be burpees, squats, pull-ups to keep that ass and that belly tight. So when you're, you know, tell me about your physical journey, because you've always been like athletic, but I know that you're, you know, pretty damn amazing in Taekwondo and you do all of this, you know, martial arts stuff. Talk about that a little bit.
Man. Well, I knock my burpees out and my pull-ups out right here. And I do my abs.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I do it right here, man. I have some weights right here, but I'm walking distance from my gym. So it takes like 5 minutes for me to walk to my gym. The gym opens at 5 in the morning. So I'm best in the morning. I like to knock things out early. I want to get up, get my reading in, you know, go to the gym. So it's like right when I wake up, before like the sun comes up, I've already knocked out multiple wins. You know, so it's like I took care of my mind. My mindset is getting, you know, it's developing in the right direction. 1% better, you know, poco y poco. So, and then my physical body is getting better. So, you know, by the time 9 o'clock hits, 8 o'clock hits, I've already had multiple wins in my day. And then I just continue that momentum by you know, by making money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think that for me, it's a part of my lifestyle. Like you wake up, you wash your face, you brush your teeth, you work out.
Yep.
You have to do things to let your body know that you're going to be here for a long time. So my body know, they say, hey, this guy's not playing. You don't drink, you know, I'm drinking a Red Bull, but it's only because it says tropical.
Yeah. So,
but normally I don't drink sodas. I just mostly drink water and coconut water.
Yeah.
And get my exercise in.
Well, I mean, again, people can get shit-faced in alcohol and they won't remember the next thing. They won't remember where their money went. They won't remember, they'll have a blur about their experience. And they probably act a fool where other people don't want to associate with them. So I love your natural habits, the ones that you developed over time. And that speaks to this. When we first came to Puerto Rico, you came and all these other guys came and stuff like that. And we were supposed to go to this crypto conference, speak on stage and all these other kinds of things. And you were basically just kind of paying attention to what was going on back in 2017, 18. But I remember we had rented this apartment or whatever it was that had a swimming pool on the roof. And we're all chilling out. And I was like, hey, what are you guys doing? And kept saying, when's Kenmon coming around? When's Kenmon coming around? And then I remember either texting you or saying, hey, dude, we're chilling out, on the rooftop. It's pretty cool. And you're like, yeah, but I'm at Brock Pierce's house. I was like, how the fuck is this guy been on the island 24 hours and he's rocking community with Billionaire in Old San Juan? Tell me how that came about.
Okay, so back in my real estate days, this was I don't know, 2006, 7, 8, that time frame. I went to a conference in Florida. I don't know if you heard of a guy named Ron LeGrand.
Yeah, I think he
teaches. Okay, so anyway, I went to his conference. It ended up being a pitch fest where he had a lot of speakers on stage trying to pitch you different types of making money opportunities. Well, it was a guy that spoke on stage. And this, again, like 2007 or 6 or something like that. So he was a young guy and most of the guys were old. So because he was a young guy and he spoke in front of his audience of hundreds of people, I thought that was pretty cool. So I stayed in contact with him. So we stayed in contact over the years on Facebook and stuff like that. And he moved to Medellin. I started coming to Medellin in 2015. So every time I would come, I would say, hey, man, I'm in Medellin, but we never would link up. We never saw each other again. So then when I was in Puerto Rico, when we all came to Puerto Rico to go to the conference, he was in Puerto Rico. So I said, hey, man, you following me, So long story short, we went out to some kind of event where they had like food trucks and stuff like that. And I saw, that's what it was. I saw him at a restaurant. It was a place with a bunch of food trucks and I ran into him. And that's how I was like, yo, you following me? And then long story short, he said, hey, well, when I leave here, I'm going to Brock Pierce's house. Do you want to come too? Yeah, I want to come. So that's how I just staying in contact with the right people, everywhere I'm going, I'm shaking hands, kissing babies, waving at folks. Because of COVID, I can't kiss as many babies.
Well, I want to speak to that too a little bit too. So the crypto community in general, the Hexicans as well, there's an anonymity desire. Anonymity, thinking that they're going to get hacked, they're going to get robbed, they're going to have the $5 wrench that hits them over the head and steals all their crypto, right? So there's an anonymous culture. Screen name, I don't know who you are, but I know a screen name. You're not on camera. I don't have any imagery. I don't know anything other than you're sending me Telegram messages, right? I don't know anything about you, right? Now, out of the people that are rich, would you say more people that are rich are public or that they are covert, living in the basement, hiding?
The majority that I know, and I like to hang around first generation millionaires because I just find that the ones that inherited it, I just learned so much more from the first generation millionaires. So speaking about those, most of them that I know, they like to be covert, behind the scenes. I met a guy, I think in January, super successful. This guy's multi-millionaire, living over, he's from London originally. Then he moved to Spain for 10 years. Then he came to Medellin to live. And we became, just started talking and becoming friends. I didn't even know he was a multi-millionaire. He doesn't have an Instagram. On his WhatsApp, he doesn't have a picture. He doesn't want anybody to know who he is. He wants to stay behind the scenes. Even he's not even the face of his business. I mean, he hires other people and have them as the face of his business because he doesn't want anybody to know that he's actually the guy, Yeah. And even as I was coming up, I always said to myself, I said, it'd be like Oprah Winfrey lives here, Bill Gates lives here, and I don't know who that guy is. And then it's like Steve Jobs, yeah, most of the wealthy people I know, they, it's the people that don't really have it. They try to put on a front of facade. Now I understand.
But again, they're speaking the influence game. Oprah is a billionaire because she spoke influence, right?
Right.
And so the same sort of thing is, if these guys, whether the Hexicans or whatever, and they want to up their lifestyle. So I'm getting DMs right now on Telegram. And, there's a population that's 35 to 55. They've made money. They were already entrepreneurial or they had, some speculative nature to them. They put it into Hex and now they've made even more money. These guys, they're not looking for again, if they're married, there definitely shouldn't be. But if they're not, then they're not necessarily looking for the 22-year-old supermodel, right? Maybe they don't want to step into that lifestyle. They've already defined their trajectory and they're kind of in that comfortable spot. Having more money just gives more security in their mind. Now, most of the 22 to 35-year-old guys, right, that are still trying to get their money right, maybe they do have a windfall because of Hex or whatever. I don't want them to burn that windfall. I don't want them to be the lottery ticket winner that 5 years later is broke, right?
It's so easy to do.
It's so easy to do, right? And so I want to get these guys, educated before they spend their money foolishly or that just gets taxed to death, or people come out of the woodwork and say, can you help me out? And, when they just basically give all their money away. So that's why I want lifestyle coach related stuff as far as this university concept and things like that. I want this power of network. You are somebody that's bold enough through maybe natural charisma. I don't know if you were ever a shy kid, but it might be natural charisma.
I tried to be shy one time in the 3rd grade, but the teacher didn't believe me. I said, teacher, I'm bashful. But she just said, shut up, Kenmon.
Yeah, you're a natural. Other people have to learn how to break out of that shell and, build relationships, build collaborative relationships. Right.
Yeah. And speaking of, so that's another thing, because I don't want to just be monetarily rich, but I also want to be resource rich. I want to be network rich, right? Anything I need right now in my life, I don't have to go outside of my circle. If I need anything, not just saying money, but like advice or, anything I need, I got a circle. You're in my circle. And my circle is very small. I think, I don't know, Lil Wayne, somebody said, my circle is so small right now, it's a dot. But you don't need many people in your circle as long as they're solid. So that's I value that so much, because I can lose the money, but with the right support, you can make it back even faster and make more of it.
And that's the thing is, you don't have to be something to everyone and everyone something to you. You can do just like having a hunting party. You're effective when you're a troop of 8. You're not effective when the whole tribe, picks up a spear and goes beating the bushes, right? You're effective when you're effective when you are really choosing who is inside that dot or that circle for you.
Right.
Can you just for a moment, I got to do something for just a moment. Can you talk on camera? I'm going to put you on the main screen for a moment. Can you talk about discovering Kevin Samuels, Fresh and Fit and these kinds of people that basically are doing the dating culture game? They're basically educating about, what makes a man attractive. And if a woman is really looking for a quote unquote equal, right? This, can you talk about some of the things you've learned from Kevin? I know you first learned about him from fragrance and his brand influence, but I got to step away for about 2 minutes. I'm going to put myself on mute and just share a little bit about who Kevin Samuels is and why that's impacted your life.
Yeah, cool, man. Cool. So Kevin Samuels, another testimony of a guy who's just doing what he wants to do on his purpose, and consistency is the key to success, right? So I found out about Kevin maybe 4 years ago, something like that. Yeah, about 4 years ago, 2017 or 2016 maybe. His YouTube channel had less than 10,000 subscribers, I remember. And I just wanted to know about fragrances because I love perfumes, I love colognes. And he always talk about frames and fragrances and fashion. And I don't have much fashion sense. You know, I wear flip-flops every day and swimming trunks because I'm a tropical brother. But I wanted to know about different colognes and stuff like that. And, you know, because he said if you spray a cologne on, then you instantly become more attractive to a woman. So like, let's just say you're a 5, you spray on some nice smelling cologne, now you're a 7. Or if you're a 7, now you become a 9. So he's the reason that if you look up in my closet, I have all these $500 pair of shoes. He said, you know, you need you a nice pair of shoes. A grown man should have a nice pair of shoes. And I'm like, nice, $500, nice, you know. But of course, I didn't pay $500 for them because I don't pay full price for anything. I heard Donald Trump, whether you like him or not, I heard him say many years ago, maybe it was in his book. He said that he doesn't pay full price for anything, and he's a billionaire. So if he doesn't pay full price for anything, then I know I don't need to. So again, Kevin Samuels is just he started with fragrances and then fashion, but he blew up when he started talking about relationships, and that's really key too, because it's, you know, you always have to pivot. You know, he was passionate about one thing, but once he started talking about something else, he took it and ran with it, and he just hit 1 million subscribers just recently. So he went from like 100,000 subscribers in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, every time I see him do a live stream, he's got like 30,000 live followers. Yeah. And he's just speaking the truth. You know, he's speaking the truth, the things that are said behind closed doors. You know, they say like, you know, a man can say like he wants a slim woman, you know, that doesn't have any kids, that's never been married, and, you know, something like that, and a woman that's feminine. And then, you know, people will berate that man. They'll say, oh man, you know, you shouldn't say that. You know, you should be lucky with anything you get. But a woman can say, you know, she wants a millionaire, somebody with a, you know, somebody that's very affectionate. You know, she'll have her list of things. He has to have a 6-pack. He has to be 6 feet tall, you know. And then they say, well, you can have anything in the world you want. Yeah. So all these women are saying, you know, I want a guy that makes 500 grand a year, you know, that's going to be loyal and monogamous. That shit isn't reality, but that's the thing that's programmed in their brain, right? So Kevin kind of highlights that stuff. He's like, you know, how are you defining yourself based on the marketplace? Whether it's the sexual marketplace, whether it's the you know, the connection and bond marketplace. You want to be a power couple, or are you a power half of a power couple? Are you bringing the same resources, network, and you know, mindset to your partner, whether it's a husband, wife, or whatever? And that's really not what, I don't think that women are programmed that way. And I'm not trying to be demeaning. What I am trying to say is, you know, confidence means that you feel superior. That's what confidence means. And every woman says that they want a confident man. Every woman says that. Nobody says that they want, you know, a simp they look down on and they say, you're just throwing money at me. But, you know, what is a confident man? What is a person with, and again, he talks about, you know, this 2% of the male population. It isn't actors and it isn't athletes that just made money. It is not those people. It is the people that have the power and network. You know, they've built network over time that they could remake that money if they went completely broke within, you know, 6 months and go back to the same place. So I just want to highlight that. I do see Hexicat in the background. I don't see your camera turned on. I'll bring you on if you have your camera turned on. I'm going to put a link in the chat. If you guys see this link, you're more than welcome to join in. We've got about 30 minutes left. You want to ask Kenmon, you want to ask me anything specific, then jump on the stream. It's in there. I'm going to put it inside the Hex chat and ask you guys join in. I'm going to put it in the discourse one too. See if there's anybody in discourse that wants to jump on.
And Gary, I just want to wrap up a story.
Sure.
So going back to Don Wilson and the $300, his course, and I got it on a torrent site. You know, about a year later, I was in Orlando for a marketing conference. I'm walking in the hallway of the conference. I look over to the right. Who do I see at the bar? Don Wilson. He's sitting there at the bar talking. Yeah, he's talking to somebody, some more people. So this guy doesn't know me from Adam. So I walk up to him and I said, hey man, I bought your course. I said, hey man, about a year ago, I got your course. I couldn't afford it at the time, so I got it on a torrent site. So here's your $300. That's not the $300
man, look
down.
at you. Look at that integrity. That integrity is like, hey, that was good value. It added to my life. It added to my wealth.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you your $300.
So he puts his cup on top of the $300, and then we got to talking and stuff. I said, yeah, over the last year I made like $100,000. So here's your $300 for the course, and we end up becoming friends. And he invited me to his mastermind in Hawaii like the next month. Now this mastermind was like $5,000 or $6,000, but he invited me to come for free. So I went to that one, and then the next time he had a mastermind in Jamaica, which was another like. He increased the price from $2,000 to $5,000.
Yeah,
I went there and flew first class. So
that's awesome. Let me go through some of these comments. I see people popping in, but if you don't have your camera on, I'm not bringing you on. If you have to have your camera on. So if you want to pop into the show, you want to be a known person, then put your camera on. You're more than welcome to join. And we'll have this last 30 minutes with whoever wants to join. But let me go through the comments a little bit. So let's see, tool to protect money. Yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to develop here, is a tool to protect your money, get your status, your upgrade, your lifestyle. Ballet Brand, always supportive, always amazing about the channel. I really appreciate this guy. He's been a supporter of every channel, and his channel has been growing quite well too. I missed out on seeing him in person, but I think that the cards got relayed to him. I made these special hotel key kind of cards that share all of your social media platform. Like if you're on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, does it very automatically. So maybe I'll bring Ballet Brand on sometime to talk about that card. Won't sleep for weeks. One who meant this. Let's see. Thanks for all they do. Thanks again, Ballet Brand. He's giving out $13.33 to the discourse channel. Really appreciate that, guys. And again, Kinetics speaks to this. You're going to 10x your quote unquote money if you support this channel. If you do super chats, if you do anything that we're going to be putting forth, even if you're not a member or if you're not coming to any of the classes or things like that, you're going to 10x your money at least, because this is what breaks through the fog of the internet. This is what breaks through the financial spaces, talks to people that are outside of the crypto environment, people that have never heard of Hex or Bitcoin, people that have never heard of any of those things. This is the environments we're getting into through our own network. So anything that you do to support the channel is going to be helpful. Let's go to talking about the price of Hex has come up to 0.86 cents. I've seen a couple $1 million come out over the past day or so. People putting it into USDC or whatever it is that they're doing. And I'm seeing maybe the same people buy right back in because they see the price escaping them. Richard, if he says Pulse is going to launch tomorrow, you're going to see that price move. So definitely pay attention to the charts. Pay attention to what's going on. Let's see. Are you open to investors outside? Yes. So if we're going to basically co-own real estate through the formation of an LLC, you don't have to be a U.S. citizen. You would have to be KYC. I'm not going to accept anybody that's completely anonymous. You can't be a business partner, ownership rights, receiving cash flow from real estate as far as distribution to the LLC members without being full KYC. But you do not have to be every member of an LLC doesn't have to be US based. Let's see, what else? Nice. Buy an $80,000 Toyota Land Cruiser. They're nice. I don't know that they're flash. I don't know anybody that really says, I went to Miami for a week and I drove a Land Cruiser. What do you do they put that up there as their flex? I don't know. Is that the thing? What are your thoughts?
That's the flex in Montana.
That's the flex in Montana. Got likes. 97 likes, 125 watching. I know Wow. It's a 149 right now watching. Hit that awesome. Likes, hit that subscribe, put this on your Twitter, get it out there, make sure that people see this coming up. I see J.O. If your camera comes on, I'll bring you on. You can turn on your camera. There's a little thing to turn on your mic and your camera, make sure it's set. But I see J.O. trying to be on the channel. But yeah, hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the retweet. Definitely helps to break through the noise. Community. It's exactly what the community needs. Exactly. You guys have made some money now. I want you to keep your money. I want you to compound your money. I want you to put it back into Hex. Let's see. How much are we talking? So Franklin again, I think he's in Miami. I ran this idea by him maybe about a week or so ago. And I said, hey, I need someone maybe as a house manager, because I can't be there all the time. But yeah, Franklin probably would be, I would say, less than 8 people. Anything more than that becomes cluttered as far as the distribution becomes more logistics to pay out, revenue from the site. And that would be all of the revenue. So if we have supercars and people are renting supercars, if we throw a party, we throw an event, and we charge at the door for everybody that's not Hexican, right? We throw an event, the revenue to the LLC will be based on everything that site generates. If we throw seminar classes, or actually what we're going to do is we're going to set up revenue referral income. And the referral income would be from the lawyers, CPAs, and things like that. If they actually help people as clients get defined. I saw Kinetics pop back on. Come on, man. I saw you jump in. If you're going to jump back out, hop on. I saw you, man. Yeah, everything that the site generates will go to the distribution of the LLC membership. It's not for U.S. citizen only. Thanks for the donation, Franklin. Thanks for this Canadian. You can be Canadian and be co-owner. Reach out when we get serious about it, or when you get serious about it. You can. Anybody that's curious, you can put Telegram me. Go to Telegram. You see my t.me/FundingGym. Reach out to me directly. You can tell me, hey, I'm interested in being a class member, graduating class. There you go. I see a guy over there.
Hey guys. Hey, I just wanted to say thank you, Tropical Brother Kenmon, for stepping in here with Gary, sounding the mic with him. You guys are an inspiration to this community of what this community could be. There's already so many military and entrepreneurial minded people in this community. And so to see 2 guys like you who have made it, who have an example and so much to teach this community, come on and be willing to give this information for free. You guys are amazing. So I appreciate you guys coming on. Everyone that's watching right now, please like, subscribe, and follow these 2 guys. These 2 guys are going to set you on a path that most people can't, because they don't have the experiences and they don't have the knowledge, can't set you on the right course like these guys can. So thanks again, guys. I really appreciate you guys. Sorry, I just got done weed eating, so I'm outside. When you speak to someone doing the lawn, that was totally me while I was listening like a podcast. But there's so many great moments I wanted to jump in and just say, hey, you guys are killing it here, and it's truth. Truth to power here. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, if you want to stay on the stream, then definitely let us know. But what do you want to say to that Tropical Brother? You got an audience member, another Hexican, OG Hexican, people you're meeting inside the community. And someone asked earlier if Tropical is a Hexican. He is. He's put money into Hex. He came to the event in Las Vegas. He definitely is a wherewithal guy. And I think I'm framing him to get into Pulse. So he's getting prepared for when Pulse launches. So we're going to see a lot more Tropical Brother.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about it. Yeah, it's good seeing you again, Kinetic.
Yeah, good.
Bang bang. What up, Kinetics?
I see
what's up, man?
More people joining in. Really
So Franklin.
Yeah, man.
Be on the stream with yourself, Gary.
You haven't changed your name back since I changed it, huh?
You give me the stolen man. Listen, I didn't just finish work. Just
bring in the sunshine. Bring in the sunshine.
Even in the Sunday, you got to get that work. So 3 happy customers today. Close about $5,000 worth of business. So
I love it.
Life is good. Life is good. But hey, it's delayed gratification. It takes 3-4 months to get shit on the roof. But
yeah,
you just stack and you stay consistent. So, but listen, I appreciate and I love the initiative. I just want to say a few things real quick, because not only the lifestyle is great, but the fact that you can turn that into a way where it's, to some degree of business, but then people don't want to lose money, because I've literally can speak to that. You know what I mean? In my early days, or the people that I've seen around, I've seen people with a lot of money and then money just gone. Like,
Out
you
the
know,
door.
we're out there, we're doing this, we're doing that. Like, my funniest story that I always share, I had a friend literally making 20 grand a month consistently, but then spending $21,000 a month. Like, it makes no sense. And then still broke. Money comes in fast, money goes fast. And it's just like,
broke on a different level.
That's wild.
if only he had somebody that could teach him, wait, listen, you can get the lifestyle. There's nothing wrong with that. Listen, I like the lifestyle. We're working hard. You know what I mean? I firmly believe he didn't come upon the earth just to eat shit soup, right? But there's a way to do it so that, just like how we love Hex, where the assets generates the lifestyle. So you can kind of like work once very, 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 very hard. And then the lifestyle kind of takes care of it. So I think that's why the initiative, to me at least, my 2 cents, is why I think it's great.
Yeah, that's exactly, people like Kiyosaki that are in the public sphere, anybody that's Buffett, anybody that's things like that, that's what they say. They say, get your intellectual property together, define yourself, get your prowess, right? Figure out this game about the money ladder, and then buy the asset that throws off the cash. Hold the asset, hold the principal. Even when you're holding Hex and a run comes out, you at the most you should be selling the interest. At the most, if you're even going to sell it at all. Because there's all kinds of ways that we can, through real estate at least, as far as an example of my experience, that you can basically exit temporarily some particular rung, buy into the LLC that holds the underlying asset. Banks love to have forced up equity because they have rent rolls that show the fact that it's earning more money than it cost as a single family house, and they will lend against it. They'll go 100% in some cases. And you'll get your capital back that goes right back into a Hex stake. And, you put it out there 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever you want to put on your capital. But now you have ownership rights and you have cash flow from the underlying real estate and university. I think it's a great plan. Absolutely.
Just like in Hex, you're holding the T-shirt because they're more valuable than the Hex. There are the assets generating the yield,
Right. Hey, Franklin, what are you doing over there? Are you in Florida now?
He's probably at the gym.
I am in the gym actually. Right now,
I knew it.
Just got out.
The gym rat.
I'm always there.
Gotta live in the gym.
So I'm in Gainesville right now. I'm trying to make that step to Miami for real. But I'm looking for places to rent. So this is perfect, Gary. This is exactly what we need. You have any thoughts on when you might be closing or when?
So my property sells within. Yeah, so my property in California it's going on MLS in 8 days, but they're doing realtors are doing pocket listing party. So they're going to come look at it and things like that. Every realtor tells me it'll sell for 2.2, 2.3, something like that. Then I've got basically 45 days once I close. And in my area, it's super hot right now.
Oh, yeah, probably 10 days, the house is going to be gone.
Yeah, so I'm next door to Apple. I'm next door to NVIDIA. It's suburbs, and people are moving out of San Francisco. The ones that are too nervous to move
watch out.
Together.
Goldman Sachs might give you an answer within a week.
Yeah, so it should sell. All of the properties close within, or they get a buyer on the hook, and I'll probably go with a cash guy.
Yeah,
but they all get within 8 days, 10 days. So within 30 days, I have to be serious about committing to something as a 1031 exchange. So I was looking here in Puerto Rico. I was looking at compounds and things like that. But guys can come to Puerto Rico. They can set up their entity. They can decide if this is the lifestyle that they are willing to go through for 5 months of the year. There's all kinds of other ways that you can save capital gains and some structured tax vehicles based on where you're at. But Puerto Rico is for me. I'm definitely still doing Puerto Rico 5 months of the year. I just may buy my own house. And then what I want to do as far as the rollover of my own capital is initially just to get the title and get the property going. I'll probably buy it myself. Maybe I'll have some other Hexicans, OG Hexicans contribute, and we'll form an LLC that holds the property itself.
But yeah, a question for you. If I were to say, right, because that's the thing I'm debating. Puerto Rico or Miami? Explain the pros and cons. Why is better? Because somebody could say, well, I'm in Massachusetts, right? So Massachusetts, go to Miami, okay, 6% gets that. The federal, if you do an investment, it doesn't really matter. But why there versus Puerto Rico versus Miami? Can you kind of?
So I'm a Hexican. I'm not a trader.
Me too.
What I'm getting at is the reason why people are in Puerto Rico is because they're traders. They're stock traders. They're they're looking on the daily movement and the capital gains on every short-term trade, right?
Right.
Now, if you're dealing with real estate, the real estate is going to be taxed and capital gains based on where it is, not where you are. So it doesn't really help you as far as real estate when that goes. So the bankers and hedge fund and all of the people that Mike Maloney and Peter Schiff that live here, they're doing it because they're trading and they're basically having 0% capital gains on frequency, right? Yes. Now, if you're staking in Hex and you're 1 year, every 6 months, whatever your rungs might be, you probably don't have to think about it the same way. If you're 25 to 35 years old, you are looking to have more access to females. I don't give a fuck what people say.
No, that's a fact.
It is the fact of life. We are in a hypergamy world.
Issue.
I mean, Medellin is one on the list for a reason. My friend keep talking about it. You gotta come here. You gotta come here.
Hey,
and I will say this from the Fresh and Fit podcast, which I fucking love.
I like
sometimes you gotta deal with the attitude. Miami. Sometimes it's just. I mean, I was just there like just a couple months ago. It's just
I hope to assist you guys in that. But that's not my goal, not my aim.
Speaking that, like sometimes you want a little bit more substance. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, again, so the great thing about our community is we have the great thing about our community is we have individuals that are. I want to be ownership class of a university. I want to be ownership class of an LLC and real estate. I want to play that equity game because, frankly, number is going to go up in real estate. It's going to go up in stock. $6 trillion, $10 trillion has to go somewhere. It's going to go up in crypto. So you have to be ownership class of multiple things, in my opinion. And I think that we can save a lot of Hexicans pain, stress, and grief of losing their fucking money if we can educate them and capture them inside of an environment like a university.
Yes. And funny enough, that was the reason why my question was framed like that. I mean, I can only speak for me, but I never had any problem with females. Doesn't matter my locations.
Me either.
I've never had that.
People here too. I mean, there's a lot of college, whatever. But the point was,
I don't think any of you guys on stream have that problem.
The point was more like we're talking about investments, things like that. Like, why would I go? Again, I'm just playing devil advocate. Why would I go all the way to Puerto Rico if I can just go to Miami? Example. And that could be Miami. It could be, there's many, Texas, could be, you know what I mean? That's what I was trying to gauge if you could kind of show the pros and cons between the two. And definitely I am not a trader. So I guess the real estate, like you said, doesn't matter because it's where you're buying the thing. But I will say, like Miami, some of the places are hot. So sometimes like in Boston, you wouldn't mind pay a premium to something that you know it's just going to rent. Yeah. Like no big deal. You just want the headache. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's worth paying the extra money instead of being
it's all about location. And part of that is it, the reason why people pay a premium to be in New York is because of the nightlife and the things that they could do. They pay, $4, $5, $6 a month, not because they want to be locked into their living room during COVID times. So when you're seeing exit from these places, you're seeing it because they don't see on end of the tunnel that life is going to go back to absolute normal.
Exactly.
Now, Florida is much more liberal about, hey, we need to go back to a normal life. We need to have the cruise ship industry come back online. We need to, you're going to get COVID. If you're not vaccinated by now, you're going to have something, but it's a youth culture. It's a display of wealth culture. It's a status culture by comparison to other places. Puerto Rico, honestly, is a poor place. And you can find pockets that are, this is the nice house, the nice compound, but you're going to drive on shitty streets. So if you're going to be a trader, if you're going to be in and out of multiple asset classes, I would say that Puerto Rico is worthwhile. 0% capital gains. You're going to run, was it Jake Paul or whoever it is from
I'll be back
from
to you
YouTube
guys.
famous.
Just,
you're on. Jake Paul or Luke Paul, whatever his name is, the guy that just did the
Logan
fight.
And Jake are brothers.
Yeah, Logan
boxers,
Paul.
Whatever.
They moved here to Puerto Rico, and they're down the street, and it's because they make $100 million a year from their brand, from their influence. Ty Lopez.
Ty did move? He left California? Oh wow!
Yeah,
know that.
Yeah. So they're there because they run e-commerce companies, and the brand and income that they make from their e-commerce company is a maximum of 4% income taxed. Maximum. Exactly. Right? If you're going to make that kind of money and you're going to be stateside, you're going to pay, 30, 50% on your money.
Jesus. Wait, what?
So when I first moved to Puerto Rico at a conference, I met a guy who owned a pharmaceutical company. And the long story short, he said the year before he moved to Puerto Rico, he paid $400,000 in taxes. $400,000. It was like 40% of his income. The next year he moved to Puerto Rico. He said he only paid $40,000 in taxes. Yeah.
Damn.
So his tax. Yeah, I mean, so he kept $360,000 back into his pocket. The other thing, in addition to the tax benefits, 98% of the island is an ozone. I don't know if you're familiar with the opportunity zones, but in stateside America, it's mostly in the poor communities. But in Puerto Rico, it's like you could throw a rock, you in the opportunity zone. So this means that if you buy a property in Puerto Rico, if you keep it for 5 years, then you only pay half of the taxes. If you keep the property for 10 years, then you don't pay any taxes. So most people want to buy a property to keep it. So if you buy the property, keep it for 10 years, then you pay no taxes, no real estate taxes on the property. So
yeah, and there's also Act 73, which is if it's in a tourist zone, which is basically the perimeter of the island, then you can set up Airbnb, a fourplex, sixplex, whatever. 90% of the income that it generates for 10 years is not taxed. So you only pay 10% on your Airbnb revenue or your whatever you want to do. Nice. So there's all kinds of reasons that people that come to Puerto Rico, one is they're running e-commerce remotely. They're running, like there's a guy that I know, Kim Jefferson, whatever. His family owns maybe like 10 different hotels in Los Angeles. And when he was living in LA, the income stream from the revenue of the properties was maximally significantly taxed, one through the entity, and he's basically paying double tax because it got distributed to him. Now what he does is he drains the revenue from the entity in California, expenses it completely out so that the management services are run from Puerto Rico by him. So he basically drains that pool over here, puts it over here where it's only 4% taxed.
But one more thing too, correct me if I'm wrong, because I think also high earner type, let's say sales professional doctor are in that predicament too, because like, for example, me, right, excluding investment, like I paid 60 grand in tax last year, that shit fucking sucks. I mean, I wrote off a bunch of different things, primarily my car mileage, this, that, whatever. But still, because I'm forced, right? I'm fucking W-2. So I don't have a choice. They take the fucking money right off the back bi-weekly and I just get the leftovers. So it's just like you getting, you make 200, then you pay 60, whatever. I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm going to Florida. Well, I lose the 6% from Massachusetts, but what about that fucking, federal?
So like the medical professional that actually has to go into the hospital, a cardiologist actually has to go in and do heart surgery. They're not going to have any real tax benefit. They're still going to pay the island, tax is about 32% is still like progressive and so forth. So if you're actually deriving your income from a Puerto Rican and you are Puerto Rican, the government sees that as a closed economy. You're not bringing new revenue to the island. Why do you get a benefit, right? You open an ice cream store in Old San Juan, you're selling to locals and tourists, sure, but you can't show that really. You can't document that. So you're generating income from the local economy of Puerto Rico. However, if you're bringing new revenue to the island, tourists are coming to your Airbnb. You are a clinical psychologist and you're going to use telemedicine to go through your laptop to deal with your clients in California, Massachusetts, Canada, Europe or whatever. You're bringing new revenue to the island. And the island says 4% of something is better than 80% of nothing. Right? That's what they
say. If I rephrase hypothetically, let's say I move to Puerto Rico, right? Example, and then I do my solo virtual. I use my laptop, which I can't, because COVID, that's what we did. I just pivot, right? Virtual consultation, whatever.
Yep.
Then I make the 200, and you're telling me I only pay 4%?
Yeah. So you would pay what is that? You would pay $8,000. You would pay $8,000 on 200 grand.
For real.
And you right across the street from the
And that helps you snowball your hex. You have more capital in your control instead of giving it to government. And then you're able to put that into more dream account kind of ladder stuff. And
because that has been my issue, to be honest with you, because I'm never worried about the investment stuff because, again, I'm not trying to create taxable event. Most of my stuff is take 10 plus. And then it's like, it's just the new money that comes in. To be honest, it's sad, man. Like you fucking see your check and say, oh yeah, 20 grand. And then you only get like 10.
Yeah.
Like it's disgusting,
Death by taxation.
Yeah. Yep. And you know what's even more fucked up? Even if I would pay the thing, I would have preferred that they give me the money I invest throughout the year, and then I pay at the end. The fact that they take it up front, for me, that's the biggest, you know what I mean? Because if you know what you're doing,
you don't get to charge them
6 months,
interest.
you can flip something.
You're gonna outperform Social Security, their number that they say you need to, the safety net of the world is that we're going to control the money for you, right? Whether it doesn't matter if you're American or not, the U.S. as big fucking brother wants to control the economies of other countries, right? And so, that's the good thing is you don't have visa issues, you don't have anything about expatriation, you don't have an exit tax, like you would if you went to Portugal or Malta or something like that. Or even like Roger Ver says, pay $250,000 and do this thing. You don't have that capital outlay in order to change your citizenship and reduce what your passport will allow you to do in this world, right? Mm-hmm. I have all kinds of banking relationships. I can get $1.5 million worth off of credit cards. But if I become a Portuguese or a Maltan guy, I give up all of that bridge. I don't have that access to the network, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I will say this.
I gotta get going. Hold on real quick. I gotta get going, but I just wanted to throw out there that, hey, once we get the tropical Instagram Miami house going or something of that nature or in that area, then I'd love to throw out the Jackson's Hole ski retreat. So
yeah.
So
that's the thing is we're going to
go.
stack them. And as long as they are venues that people say, hey, if I put this into my Instagram feed, people are going to like me more. They're going to think about me more. They're going to give me more access to their network and their party because they see me as a peer. So I want to build these guys up from, right now, a lot of people are going to look at Hexicans, 24-year-old Hexicans, and they're going to say, you just got lucky. You're just a windfall guy. You just did a lottery ticket and it happened to pay out. Of course, why would I buy in when you're just the lucky guy that won the ticket? Well, you need to be able to show that you're entrepreneurial, you have ambition, you're networking with other power players, whether it's inside the crypto space or any other kind of salesmanship kind of position, because this is a band of brothers. We as a battalion can conquer armies, right?
Absolutely. Well, I'll teach you kids how to bomb the slopes. So in the meantime, I'll see you guys later, and I'll catch up with you guys soon.
Cool, man.
All right, peace, bro.
Good to see you. Next.
Nice. I see Franklin's timing out. I think I hear you, but I don't know if your camera's off.
Yeah, I think what you said is very important. It's kind of like in business we call it like building your LinkedIn type profile. You know what I mean? Where you've been, what is going. So over time, and you get to rub elbows with obviously people that not just have money but have influence, have knowledge, perfectly like Tropical was saying earlier. Like sometimes it's good to be at the right place at the right time. You make an investment and you just happen to be at the right party, meet the right people. Like it's like reading the right books or heard about this one thing, and next thing you know, everything clicks for you. So meeting the right people in the community is important.
So what do you think about this, Franklin? I see you over there, you popping in, popping out. I know you have a fitness program. I think that having physical trainers and things like that, I think that could be part of this, get your money right, get your body right, get your influence right kind of program. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to start talking to you about. I'm about to start doing like DNA testing for individuals, so we can definitely incorporate that, right? A lot of people don't realize that your genotype also affects on how you are and what you should eat, your diet, how you should work out. And I think that'd be very beneficial to the Hexican community, that offering, programs, whatever. So that definitely could be something part of this Hex University and Hype House. Like that would be dope.
Yeah. I can imagine putting into the bigger room like a massive like 80-inch television, and then if you're not physically on site, you can lead these kind of classes. We would have one of the OG guys that are LLC owners on site, basically one guy, and then the other 4 rooms or 5 rooms would be basically guests for the programs. But I do see a remote, during the day, 6 hours of education and all these different venues, very much a university. And then in the evening, kind of going out and socializing and learning the dating game, learning game from guys that have fucking had game.
Right. No, it's perfect. Like
and get your health right too, which is cool. Going back to what Ty Lopez used to say, it's funny because I bought that course way back when, the 67 steps, the 4 pillar, right? Health, wealth, love, and happiness. It starts with your health, and this is something we learn a lot, in being from Africa, a third world country. Like, if you're healthy, that's your number one source of wealth. Real talk. Like you got your arms, you got your legs to move around. You can, because back in the day over there, it's like a lot of physical activity, physical level, this and that kind of, strengthen yourself, your immune system, and what you can potentially become. So having that connection, it's really, really key. Gary,
Hey, hang on one second. Let me welcome. Hang on one moment, guys. Let me welcome Jo. I brought you on screen here. I've seen you in the chats and things like that. You want to give before you guys, Solar Man and Franklin jump in again. Give us a little background on your Hex journey and how you discovered the Discourse Syndicate and why you're on channel today.
Well, I mean, I met Kareem at the Vegas.
Sound went off.
Sound.
You hit the mute button.
Okay.
Are you back on? Nope.
I can't hear. Wait, what the hell?
I think I'm gonna. I hit the button. Now I'm putting it back. So let's try again. No, your sound went out. Something happened about your connection. Jump out and then jump back in the room. Maybe.
Yeah, I did meet in Vegas. Super cool dude, and it's not too far from me. So New York area and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gary, my quick question for you was related to the. I don't know if you know the details yet. The structure for the investment and stuff. Like, is it possible? Because if somebody hypothetically, right, wants to put a lot of money in, and obviously some of the stuff are like in a state, so to speak, so the money's not movable. Like, have you thought about how you're gonna allow quote unquote funding and stuff like that? Like, what are the different options? Because obviously if it's cash only, then that might could take more times. No,
so we can do basically the first one. I'm probably gonna buy with just my own money, my own real estate rollover 1031. Then I will make an offer to LLC potential membership. We're all going to have to basically have an agreement. Any person can veto out anybody, whether they're a toxic personality. Money doesn't make the difference. Relationship makes the difference when you're co-owners. Right. And so basically what will happen is I'll give the option to effectively sell my real estate to an LLC that we have equal share in. Right. So you can either say, we're going to finance it and say, okay, Gary bought it 100%. And now we want to extract 80% of that value to distribute to the LLC members. We can go through the financing process, show the rent rolls of running it for 4 or 5 months, 3 or 4 months, and then showing that it generates more than a mortgage cost would be as an investment rate. So even if the investment rate was like 4% for a 10-year fixed, then we can pull out like 80% of the capital of the equity. And then I think that we would pull it out as LLC members, take that capital and put it into the next property, because we can host 4 guys at a time initially, but we want to host 8 guys and 12 guys and Jackson Hole and things like that. That would be the portfolio play.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because if you free cash flow, then you just roll over the rest and definitely to the next house to the next house. So I guess, it's a good way, especially in the beginning, just to get the thing rolling. Because my question automatically, right, I think like a business is just like, well, if we do this, like how soon do you need the money and how does the money flow goes? Because, if somebody has some of his money tied up, obviously in the state, but they won't participate, then how does that work? You know what I mean? Because I plan on definitely, again, to a trust, you know what I mean? So that way just kind of like the trust owns the dream account and then through there make the move. So it's just always there. So that way it protects that too.
It's the same thing. So when people would decide, and actually you can enter and exit LLCs, there'll be an individual LLC for every property. And that basically insulates one property slip and fall problem.
Yes.
Something happens from the other assets of the controlling entity.
Perfect. Yeah. So that, if a Hexican gets attacked, it doesn't end up messing up the business.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, you'll be able to sell your seat to, other people. You'll be like, hey, I bought in at 50 grand. Somebody else wants to buy this cash flow, this percentage. You want access to cash? You don't have to sell your Hex. You could sell your LLC seat, So there's all kinds of ways that you can say there's new things coming up, or maybe I've got a partner now and I need to get out of the dating culture thing that this Hex University's been doing. Whatever it is, right?
Yeah. No, it makes perfect sense because I'm all about locking up Hex. So and then anything that I always do, everything I partner with, that's just a way of life. I always want to add value and make the thing 10x, right? So, and I think again, I'd like to talk about Grant Cardone a lot, but he had this thing that he mentioned, which is great. These people that can come in, no money down, do the work and just say, hey, just give me equity on the surplus, not what you already done, but anything that I'm about to generate and, activity, putting the work in. And it goes back to how I grew up, goes back to that great story, Tropical brother had, when he made the move, hey, don't pay me. I'm here to learn, right? Here to be a sponge. That's something we learn even in engineering, like, hey, be an intern. Like, we don't get paid. We just go there. We basically work for free. But then we're getting all the knowledge and everything. And then later down the road, many, many years, hey, you remember me, blah, blah, blah. I'm doing my own thing now. The next thing you know, you get your first contract, right?
That's
It's
exactly what
literally the same thing.
Exactly.
In my small business, it's the same thing. I have 3,000 customers. Some of them are homeowners. Some of them are investors. Some of them are trying to hire me, funny enough. But I maintain the contact because you never know. And then one day, I'll be like, hey, have you heard about this thing? Boom, I got a product for you. So it's really those contacts and those connections which are key.
So I want to highlight this question that Dan says. This is just opportunity. You want to be staked in Hex. I definitely do not want you to unstake your Hex. I don't want you to early in-stake. I don't want you to sell your Hex. It's the same thing that Richard says. I prefer people don't sell, right? Because your long-term play of 1,000xing your money is probably going to be through a cryptocurrency, and very highly likely that it's going to be Hex. So I'm not saying that people need to jump out into real estate to outperform your current asset. What I'm saying is there's the potential to have your own rung that's coming out naturally, organically. You realize that you're going to come into some money. Now you've had a taxable event because you've got to end that stake anyway, right? Now it's come out from a basis. Now you've got a taxable event. If you're going to try to declare all of this thing properly to the government, you might want to look at tax structure opportunities like this. So you could take that capital, temporarily buy into or not temporarily, but long-term buy in as a LLC member, add you as a LLC member. We go from 6 owners to 7 or whatever it might be for a particular property. You say, I like the Miami one. I'm not really a big fan of skiing. I don't really like Austin, Texas. Fine, buy the one that you want. Buy the seat in the LLC you want. Then at the longest, it would take 3, maybe 4 months to have that capital that you put in to buy the LLC seat, have that redistributed back to you either through pulling out cash out finance on the equity of the property itself, or having 3 or 4 months of cash flow that basically returns the funds back to you. Now you have an ownership seat, you have your capital back. We're going to be teaching you and fucking saying things like, you should probably put that back in Hex, the greatest fucking performing asset of 2020, 21, 22, whatever the number ends up being. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be basically still promoting Hex. And that's what I want to point out is, absolutely, yes, Hex pays better than any other asset. We've done quite well, and it will continue to climb. T-shares are getting more and more scarce. Hex is climbing in price and popularity, and you're going to see it go viral. I think that's a foregone conclusion. So I'm not saying you need to come out. I'm saying if you want to participate and you want to have a lifestyle option, you want to have access, you have 2 choices. One, come as a visitor. I'm going to be there, a 1-week type program, tax deductible. Come learn how to get your money right, regardless of whatever you're going to do. Don't be an LLC owner. Don't own real estate. Don't own a supercar. But you can come and you can become effectively a member that has this affiliation, this association with the brand stuff that we're going to be doing, the people, the property, the lifestyle. And you can do that as a visitor. You want to be an owner, you're 35, 38 years old, you've got a wife and 3 kids. You want to be an owner, you might look at, hey, let me support my bags by keeping Hexicans fucking rich. How can I do that? Maybe I need to be a part owner of a university that's effective these house compounds. Maybe I need to keep the money right on growth because more of these guys keep their money instead of squander it, right? I rented a supercar a nice Corvette. It wasn't a supercar, but I'll rent supercars in the future. In the past, I've had 12 cars at the same time that were worth $500,000. And I just picked and choose whatever I wanted to drive that day. I realized that's dormant capital. Whenever Hex was going to have this big payday, I sold one of my last cars. It's like, I really don't drive that often. It's worth like 75 grand or whatever. I sold it for 42,000 just to participate in big payday. That $42,000 is now worth like 350,000, maybe 400,000. So, it's dormant capital that I converted into Hex that has become an outperforming asset, right? Versus the dormant Corvette that sat in the driveway. So you don't have to buy your own Ferrari. Just come to the compound every so often. Come to the different site, write it off of your taxes that you're going to be at the Jackson Hole one, and then you need to get more education at the Miami one, and then you want to go to the Medellin one, and then you want to go to the Kiev one. Oh, that's another thing. So my friend, my really good friend, since 2014, runs a matchmaking service that he's had for 20 years in Kiev, in Odessa, where these supermodel, basically fucking Victoria's Secret women come from. And you want to meet supermodels, spend time with them and stuff like that, you can do it. I mean, I have the connections. I have and we can set up a university kind of venue in Kiev, right? So we're going to go international. This shit's going to go viral, not just because of Hex, but because of the influence of the community that tries to keep rich guys rich and tries to build the community to stay rich. How are you going to do it, right? You can go and fumble your own shit and maybe make a mistake, or you can learn from guys that have already walked this path.
Absolutely. And I think it's great because it literally piggyback to the question that I asked, because again, it's about there's a way to do it without you having to create a taxable event for yourself. That's the whole point. And that was the point of my question, because again, we keep the main thing, right? Let's take an average 13 years. Like those things, they're not going anywhere and they're not getting emergency and stake anytime soon. And also it piggyback to something Crypto Spark we used to talk about, where imagine a world where Hexicans worldwide, and then imagine you have those Airbnb type, and then literally you want to travel the world. Hey, I'm gonna go to this continent, this area. Boom, there might be a Hexican there. Might be one of our Airbnb locations there that you can come in for a stay. Boom, boom, ready to go. You have a good time. You with family, you with your community, and you have a great time, and you get to experience things. Like again, I've met people in Vegas. I met people that the last time they went to a club was like, they told me like years ago. I met people that told me they had more fun in one night than 20 years. Literally. And that was the best company I ever had. And that was amazing. Last time they had them when they were back in like their high school prom. Because there's things out there that you can do who are really, really fun. And I show them the power of the group. Because things look crazy, expensive, then they're like, no, you can do it. If you got enough like-minded people going to the same place, we can make this quote unquote affordable, have a great time, and nobody had to lose their shirt. That's the whole point.
Right. Yeah.
It
gives you motivation to stake out for longer too when these things come out. But go ahead, Franklin. Sure. Yeah.
So the greatest part about this for me is just the fact that like people in Hex can make money, right, and also help people, right? That's exactly how Richard operates, right? That's how you're operating, Gary, Kareem, everybody. So that's the best part. Like if you're renting out from, let's say, Gary, right? You can trust that in most cases over somebody that you don't know. So we can keep it in the community and still help each other and also make money, make ties, everybody get these benefits. You know who you're dealing with. So to me, that's awesome.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. So I got to wrap it up. I've got something I got to do in about 15 minutes, but let's do a round table.
Gary, can you let Joe speak a little bit because you didn't get the chance early when you come in?
Yeah. So let's still do a roundtable. Just Jay, take as much time as you'd like when it comes to your position. So I've spoken enough. You guys kind of know my grand plan. If you want to reach out directly to me, it doesn't mean that it's going to be this week or this month. The moment that my house closes in California and has been sold, which is probably less than 30 days, then I'm going to spend basically a month in Miami shopping. And if you guys, like Franklin's already there, something like that, and you guys want to, we'll rent a penthouse or something like that while we do the shopping tour, and we'll find a property, and it will be Instagrammable, and we'll get like consensus vote from both the public that is not going to be LLC members, but they want to visit a compound like this. We'll be looking at Ferraris and shit like that, and basically make it all glam. But I want to get that input from the community, and then if you want to be LLC member, and you're saying, hey, I just want to have that money temporarily. We'll exit back out of equity because we'll be able to get the financing, and you'll get your cash back, and then your cash back goes back into hopefully Hex, and then you have revenue that's cash flowing, right? This is exactly what Robert Kiyosaki, why he's a multi-billionaire. This is exactly why. So that was my rant. Let's give Tropical Brother a couple minutes here and kind of wrap up on what your intention might be or how you might be able to collaborate with our direction.
All right, guys. If you want to stay connected with me, I'm Tropical Brother on Instagram. That's probably the easiest way to reach out to me. If you come down to Medellin, I'm here. I've been here for about 9 months now, so I can be a translator. But yeah, I'm excited to network with other like-minded people. I'm all about helping people, all about making money. I'm excited about Hex. Out of the 6 or 7 cryptos that I'm in right now, like Hex is the only thing that's profitable for me this year. So I'm up 50% with Hex. So I can't say that about any other crypto that I'm in right now. So I'm excited about Pulsechain. I'm going to get into that pretty heavy. And yeah, guys, y'all hit me up, Tropical Brother on Instagram.
Cool. Solar Man.
Nice.
Lay down the word, Kareem.
Yeah. It's Kareem. Yeah, kinetic change that. But yeah, no, always glad to be here. If people want to find me, it's just literally on Twitter for the most part. You know, it's just Kareem Majito. Well, if you type in stakeaclass.com, it goes there directly. Or Hex Dream account on Telegram. Always there to help out, answer questions. Definitely interested into what Gary is talking about and doing, because it's just a combination of everything else that we do, right? First you get the finance and everything in order, right? Then you continue add on your knowledge, right? Man must become, right? You increase your value to the marketplace, and then more opportunity comes your way. And we teach you how to make money, keep the money, multiply the money, and not get finesse, because that also matters. So yeah, and then always ready to help out. So if anything. And Gary, for sure. So
absolutely, yeah. So once I've closed on my existing house and I have cash in my pocket, because I'm not selling. I've never sold a Hex. I have never sold a Hex.
Me too.
I don't have any intention to.
Same. I haven't sold any, bro.
Yeah. So Franklin, you want to go up next and tell us, kind of your alignment with what we're thinking about?
Sure. So I'm Franklin St. Hex, certified gym trainer. I'm just in the community. If you guys ever have any questions at all, like Puerto Rico, or just want to talk, you guys can always hit me up on the Telegram. I also created the Hex Dreams chat on Telegram. So just hit me up. I'm around. I don't always get to be on chat, but love talking to all of y'all. Love all y'all. So yeah,
love it.
Get it.
Jo, do you have your mic set right? You able to speak up?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
So give us some backstory. You got a little bit of time, maybe like 5 minutes, and give us some backstory on your origin.
Yeah, no, I'm from Brooklyn, New York originally. I moved down to Atlanta, and since the COVID thing, I've just been locked into my finances a lot more, paying attention to it a lot more, and I just wanted to be around like-minded individuals. I wanted to be around people who could kind of guide me in the right place. I made it out a tough neighborhood, and the fact that I made it out, I'm just like, okay, I got to do this the right way, basically, and just put myself around with just these individuals who can kind of understand. It takes a community of solid individuals to build one individual all the time. It never fails. And with Kevin Samuels, me looking at him first, because I've been kind of like following him for a while.
Me too, man.
It guided me a lot. It really did. It guided me a lot. And I was already into crypto because I'm from New York. So, stock exchange and all that stuff. I had I have a clothing line. I did stuff for a bunch of celebrities, had a showroom on Broad Street, right next door to the stock exchange, and right next door to Bitcoin. So I was on 30 Broad Street, and I was literally next door. I got harassed every day by guys that are out there. Come in, let me show you what's going on. I'm like, no, I didn't understand. It's like not real. It wasn't real. And I missed out. And it is what it is, and I just kind of got back into it. And I think that, I found a really solid community of solid people. And I'm excited. That's it.
I love it. We got exit scammed on the last one.
Yeah, no,
I don't want anybody to know who I am.
Hey, man,
I just followed you on Instagram.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kinsman, I'm gonna come to Colombia, man. I'm gonna definitely link up with you. You seem like cool.
Nice.
Come, man.
Gary,
Come.
Gary talks about you 24/7. Like even when I was in Puerto Rico, you was the person that he would mention the most. So yeah, much.
I trust Gary. So
yeah,
I was like,
so
That's my brother.
Yeah,
he's my brother from another mother. I mean, we've had some experiences, man. We'll talk about it off camera someday.
Amen.
Very good shit. So
Machiavelli's back.
Machiavelli, you got last position on the commentary. What do you want to throw out there about how to find you, or what your alignment might be with what our program has been about today?
I just want to put my services out there for the Hex House for pool cleaner.
Love it.
Love it.
He knows that the pool cleaner gets laid the most.
The Cabana Boy.
Cabana Boy, exactly.
So I have a thing that I'm trying to do as well. I want to talk with Gary, probably off stream a little bit about it and kind of like get your idea and your thoughts on it.
Sure.
It's with Hex in the community and just kind of like go from there. I see what you're doing with the NFCs and stuff like that. So I have something that I think it's so crazy that we didn't meet, man. But it's good. It's all right.
Yeah. So if you guys have already seen it, reach out to me on Telegram. I'll try and help you guys. I got to ship it and figure out what images you want and things like that. But if you went to the Hex meetup, you have this card. If you went to the Hex meetup, this is the card that I created for Maddie. And, one side is his content, Scan Me, which is the T-Share app, things like that. The other side goes to the Hex, specifically the Hex content. So if you are, you see like these Hex Rewind, or, this is how to start your MetaMask, things like that. You have this card, scan it with your cell phone. One side is going to be Maddie's stuff. The other side is specifically Hex crypto stuff. And similarly, for my own stuff, this is just an example of my card that I made, right, for me. And so when I go to the beach and I talk to people, I just get them to either tap their phone against it, and all of my social media stuff downloads to their phone. Or if they have an old school phone, they just scan that code. On the other side, you want to have your personal brand. You want to be Kareem and you do your solar stuff, things like that. You can be personal and identifiable as your normal business relationships. Or you could be anonymized in a way. So I'm FundingGym and I'm gifting you Hex simply because it makes it easier. Since I'm not really in the regular business game, I'm going to be stepping this up more with Kiyosaki and all these people like that when I'm on stage more. But as far as my public identity, I'm Gary Woods and I'm a known person, things like that. But I just been playing kind of the regular crypto thing, kind of, we're all screen names in here. So when you want to step up and you say, I want to be a co-owner, reach out to me on Telegram. You want to step up, you want to be a brand influencer, build your own brand, reach out to me. I'll do what I can. It's a $5,000 printer that I bought just to help Hexicans. So, reach out to me directly and I'll try and help you out as well.
Bang, bang.
Nice.
All right, man. I've got about 7 minutes. I have got to go, but this has been very enjoyable. Everybody, if you came on the show today, direct message me. Make sure that I know all of your social media links that you want published. If you don't already have a physical card, let me create one for you so that you can be a power networker in person. And you can also put these things into your YouTube or your Instagram or whatever it is, so that the QR code, when they see it on your content, they go to all of your social media platform outlets. Okay?
Nice.
Amen.
All right, man. I enjoyed it. Thanks a lot, guys. I am going to sign out, and I won't be in the green room. I actually have to go. But I really appreciate you guys joining in tonight, and we'll see you on the other side.
Sounds good.
Peace.
All right,
guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys.
Ciao,
Ciao, ciao.
All right.
I don't know how he does this exit. See you guys. I'm out.
Yo.